Alright, let's jump into this dang old video, and I could officially say that I'm freaking caught up on One Piece. Well, technically I'm a couple episodes behind. Anyways, I stopped where everybody else had to stop for the hiatus, because I wanted to talk about this series as a whole so far, and of course it's still ongoing, but this is where we're at right now, and I'm pretty much where everybody else is at. I'll be grinding these last couple of episodes once I finish this video. Let's just talk about these past 300 episodes, and then to finish off this video I'll be chatting with my brother, basically the guy that really wanted me to watch this series, and we'll just be talking about moments we liked, and just, you know, we'll go through my character sheet as we're just chatting about the show. So anyways, let's jump into this dang old thing, and let's quickly talk about these past arcs that I've recently watched, and yeah. Alright, so the first arc is Zunesha, which I like to call the Elephant Island arc. And basically the main things that I got from this one was I really liked learning about the minks and like how they're tied to the samurai, and then I liked learning about the road poneglyphs and how that these 4 road poneglyphs lead to the island of Raftel, and also like how the samurais were the people that made these road poneglyphs and poneglyphs. So it's cool, like, learning all this past lore and whatnot. I also liked seeing how Luffy encouraged Momonosuke to, like, speak up for himself and, like, actually be a leader, instead of letting, like, the people that are following him be his voice. He wanted Momonosuke to say it himself, and I thought that was cool. And it reminded me of when he motivated Vivi and how he kind of kept her mind straight. Like, you gotta focus up, you know. You're taking over. You gotta be the one making the decisions, and you can't be like running around. You have to be the one that steps up, you know. And I thought that was cool. And it's always cool seeing like Luffy just turn people around and like motivate people. And then my favorite part is the true elephant gun, which I call the elephant trunk. It's so stupid, but no, I just love the way they animate this, and like it is wild how like that thing is. It was cool seeing how like Momonosuke and Luffy are like tied to these big creatures, and it was so cool how they animated this. Alright, and the next arc is the Big Momma Arc, and the thing that definitely drove me through this whole arc was definitely the whole Luffy versus Sanji incident, and like how I wanted to see like how Sanji comes back and joins the crew, like that whole like scenario of them fighting, and like she was sad and epic at the same time, but like it was a mixture of emotions. And it's definitely up there with my other sad moments in the show, being like Chopper and the Snow Blossoms, and then Luffy versus Usopp, it's similar to that, and Robin saying she wants to live, and Ace's death. Like, all these are freaking sad moments, and there's so many sad moments in the show, and this is definitely another one that I can add to the list. Other than Luffy versus Sanji, here's like a quick list of like moments that were freaking cool. I liked seeing Lola's card finally coming into play, and how the Vivera card actually saves Nami. I liked learning more about Sanji's past and like Germa 66 and how they're connected and whatnot. I also liked seeing the Strats team up with Bedge's pirates. You know, the whole scene where like they're in that one room, and like it's like a whole like mafia style like animation one. It looked pretty cool, and like it made me laugh, like how stylized it was. Seeing Big Mama's backstory was pretty wild. Like they don't really show anything, but it's assumed like, well, you know, she eats some people. That's a freaking wild backstory. Pedro's sacrifice was wild. Seeing how the minks can go into like some kind of like Super Saiyan mode with the full moon was cool. And then Big Mama's whole cakey battle music was freaking wild. I liked how they animated that, and like how she was like singing it and stuff. It was just a wild way of like making an episode. I also really liked seeing how Jimbei left the Big Mama crew. Like the fact that he puts down his cup/bowl thing, and like he does it like right in her face. And then how like Big Mama tries to steal his soul, but then the fact that he was able to power through it because he wants to see Luffy become the Pirate King. It was such a wild way of like leaving the Big Mama pirates, and it was so cool how he just did that, you know, like, oh my gosh. And to finish off this freaking whole arc, like there was definitely ups and downs in this arc, like the whole battle between Luffy and Sanji. Just this long whole like battle chase scene with the whole cake and Big Mama and stuff. But like the thing that was freaking hype for me and made me really want to keep watching even after like Sanji came back with the crew was Luffy versus Katakuri. Like, oh my gosh, was this an absolute Chad battle. Like, it was rough seeing our boy, you know, Luffy get absolutely smacked. Like, never did I feel like so bad for Luffy in a fight. Like, I was like, how the heck is he gonna come back from this? Like, Katakuri was so cracked, like, at the start of this fight. Everything Luffy did, Katakuri did it better, and it was just like, oh my gosh, Luffy, you're getting absolutely wrecked. But then, like, you see, like, flashbacks with, like, Rayleigh and, like, how Luffy has to fight strong hockey users to become a strong hockey user himself. And, like, Katakuri was such a perfect fight for him. And, like, he just slowly gained more and more strength because, you know, the harder his opponent, the stronger he'll become. And, like, it's, oh my gosh, was this fight so amazing. And, like, slowly seeing Luffy, like, get more and more strong and then whipping out the snake fourth gear form. It was, like, this whole, like, fight was freaking amazing. And then I also liked it when freaking dumb side character girl, a part of, you know, Big Mama's crew, like, got in the middle of the fight, and Katakuri freaking got freaking mad and, like, was like, freaking got in the middle of our fight, and he freaking stabs himself in the chest because he doesn't want to win, like, a dishonorable battle, or, like, you know, he wants to win a fair fight. It was so cool, like, how they both just freaking turned on that girl, and, like, oh my gosh, it was wild. Like, I really love this fight, and gosh dang, it's a great, like, now Luffy's stronger, and he definitely needed this fight for the road to head, and we'll jump to that, and there's some in-between stuff. See, after the Chad battle with Katakuri and, like, escaping Big Mama, some quick things that I want to talk about before they headed to Wano. I really liked how Luffy was slowly being recognized as, like, the 5th Emperor of the Seas. Like, god dang, man, like, for the stuff he's been doing, like, it makes sense that he should be recognized as an emperor, even though it wasn't, like, official. It just, like, 5th Emperor? Possibly? And then the bounties, it was so funny seeing how, like, Luffy got a new bounty, and it was just, the interactions with that was pretty funny. And during this in-between between Big Mama and Wano, they dropped some freaking things that I'm like, what is going on here? Like, they showed this freaking big stride, like, what the heck is that? And then we see Shanks meeting up with the 5 elders. Like, why is he meeting up with the 5 elders? And then we're also introduced to Imu, which is the guy that was standing by this big straw hat. And Imu's sitting on this throne that apparently nobody's supposed to be sitting on. It's just, why is this all happening here? And it's just so many questions. And then we lead into Wano. And god damn, is Wano freaking a wild ride. Like, this whole section of the video is probably just gonna be me chatting about, like, freaking various moments in this Wano arc. So jump in, strap in, let's freaking go through this list. Alright, first we get the freaking wild fight between Luffy and Kaido in episode 914 and 915. Like, this whole fight was freaking wild. Like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't think that he was gonna be fighting Kaido so early on. Like, I was like, oh, this whole arc is like close to 200 episodes, and holy crap, I thought it was gonna be a while before Luffy fights Kaido, but then boom, we're like right in there, and we just see how freaking useless Luffy is against Kaido. Like, he gets freaking bapped. Like, sure, Luffy was clapping Kaido in his dragon form, but I feel like freaking Kaido was just taking it, you know, like, he wasn't even like, it was whatever, just like an annoying fly, you know. But, like, man, was it just wild how fast Kaido just whooped him. So yeah, that was really cool, like, seeing, like, boom, we're right into this. We know who the big bad is. We've seen Luffy. He's got a ways to go to combat this dude. There's so many other wild moments that happen in this arc. I liked seeing Zoro versus the sickle guy and that weapons collector. Zoro just wanted to freaking get his sword back, but weapon collector boy was like, nah. And then sickle boy comes in, and now it just becomes like a 1v1. It was just a silly, wacky fight. And then I always freaking love training arcs, so I loved seeing Luffy trying to master Ryuuou, which was like the hockey that Rayleigh used, and like how you could like hit things without hitting things. So it was cool seeing Luffy trying to master that, because that's the only way he's gonna be able to combat Kaido. So I love it when you see like a character like trying to master something, and like it was so funny, like him like fighting these random prisoners, slowly trying to learn this hockey, this form of hockey. And then learning about Kaido and Big Mama and how like they were part of like this old pirate group called the Rock Pirates. The Rock Pirates had Kaido, Big Mama, Whitebeard, and the Rock Pirate himself, which we have no idea who, like, if they're gonna mention him in the future or if he's gone. Like, I have no idea like who that guy is. That's a wild crew right there, like those 4 being on a group. And it was cool seeing like Kaido and Big Mama fight, but they're just, you know, they're just fighting the fight, but they eventually team up. And then we got the Oden flashbacks. Like, there were so many things that were mentioned in this whole flashback section. Like, this was probably like the longest flashback section in like the whole series, but like it was definitely one of my favorites, and I think it is my favorite. I know it's my brother's favorite, and I definitely see why. Like, you got stories on these rock pirates, you get Whitebeard and Rogers going at it. Like, I've always wanted to see those two go at it, and you actually see them fight in these flashbacks. It focuses around Oden and like how he wants to adventure the world and whatnot, and he basically adventures during like the craziest time for the pirate era. You have Whitebeard and Rogers out there, and he travels with both the groups. Like, that's freaking wild alone. Like, you got this random dude that's just cracked on this isolated island, and he's just venturing around the world with like the most known pirates in the world. Like, it's just everything just culminating into like this small like little area is freaking wild. Anyways, it was cool seeing how we now know how Skypiea had its message with Goldie Rogers. So Oden was the one that put the message there, and I was always wondering, like, how the heck did Goldie Rogers leave that message if he doesn't read the poneglyphs? And it's because of frickin' Oden, and it was cool actually connecting those lines. And then it was cool seeing how they got to the final island, Laugh Tale, being able to have Oden read those rogue poneglyphs so that they could actually reach this final island. It was cool how they didn't even like tell you what they find on Laugh Tale, so like they leave that as a secret. Like, it would have sucked if they explained that, because then you would know what, you know, Luffy and them are trying to reach to. But they completely like don't tell you anything, but they do tell you that the island somehow answers the questions about the Void Century. They tell you the meaning behind the D clan, the people with D's in their name, and then they also like the island somehow mentions or describes like the ancient weapons and how they work and whatnot. And like, I'm just wondering, like, how the heck does this island like answer all these things? Like, what will they find on there, or like what will be on there that will explain these things? And I love how they don't tell anything, and it just leaves me with so many questions. So that was cool. To finish off the whole flashback, like, seeing Oden versus Kaido was freaking wild, and I really loved that fight. It really sucked that freaking old hag got in the middle of it, and it really pedoed freaking Kaido, and he freaking killed that girl. And oh my gosh, it's a wild fight, and it just made me sad, like, that freaking Kaido probably would have lost to freaking Oden if that one chick didn't get in the freaking way with her scummy tactics. Like, the fact that he made it look like somebody was getting captured was just so, oh gosh, what was this freaking dumb scummy move, you know, freaking rat, you know. And then to finish the flashback off, we get Oden's death, and like, man, did he go out like a freaking boss. Like, not only does he jump into this boiling hot pot of like oil or whatever it is, he holds his whole samurai crew above his head, he saves their lives, and then to finish it off, he takes a bullet to the head while smiling, while staring down Kaido. And it's such a wild imagery, and it looks so freaking cool. It sucks, but like, he went out like a boss, and you can't take that away from him. Like, he's such a wild. The freaking Oden's built different. Like, he was probably the only person in that time that could take out Kaido, other than, you know, Rogers and some of the other big boys. But, you know, Oden was cracked. You know, he was freaking cracked. Alright, and then after the flashbacks explaining Oden's past, you got this freaking massive war that goes on between the Straw Hats, Eustace Kid's group, and Law's group, plus the samurais, versus the two big emperors of Big Mama and Kaido. Like, this whole section is freaking wild. Like, everything leading up to this was just a massive build up to this whole fight. Before the war, I really liked seeing how they wanted to like toast to Jimbei joining the crew, but they're like, we'll save that for after the battle. We'll do that after. Like, it was so cool how it was animated, and it made me happy. And then when the war began, you know, it truly started once the samurais were versing Kaido, and you know, they freaking snatched that boy. And then after that, they fought on top of the whole island. It's like they were doing hecka damage. Like, I thought they were doing just fine, but as the fight progressed, Kaido was getting serious, I guess, or, you know, he was getting more and more cracked. Freaking Kaido was freaking wild. And then when Luffy finally comes on the roof, this was definitely a cracked moment, and like him just walking past these two big emperors, like this dude's freaking wild. Like I like how he doesn't even acknowledge them, he just walks past them just to look at the carnage they've caused and how they basically put the samurais on death's door. Like they were all pretty much dead, it looked like when I first watched it. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're freaking dead. Like, oh my gosh. Thankfully they weren't, but like they were heavily injured, you know, they were freaking in critical condition. But like it was so cool, like seeing how Luffy just walked past them, like ignoring what they were talking about. Like it was such a cool imagery. And then we get absolutely spoiled with animation overload. Like, oh my gosh, is it just like freaking eye candy? Like we got Yamato's fight between Kaido, you get Robin getting this weird demon form, you get Sanji fighting Queen. And during this Sanji versus Queen fight, his Venge Smoke blood awakens, and it was just wild seeing him pop his bones back in place, and then also him taking a freaking sword to the neck. Like, it was just wild. And then we got the masterpiece of a showdown, Zoro versus King. I freaking love the way they animated the Zoro versus King fight. Like, oh my gosh, is that just freaking wild. Like, that is probably hands down my favorite Zoro fight. Of course it is. Like, it is so freaking wild. Then seeing Big Mama actually getting taken down by Law and Eustace Kid, like the way they do it together was freaking wild. And then of course you get the freaking constant brawl between Luffy and Kaido, like the back and forth. And then to finish it off, freaking dumb CP0 guy jumps in at the last moment and tries to make it so Kaido wins. It just made me so freaking mad. Like, Kaido's gonna win freaking again because freaking somebody interferes with their fight. And it also made Kaido upset. Like, I loved seeing like the freaking despair in his face, like, not a fucking again. And Luffy pretty much died there. Like, it was freaking wild. Like, imagine if Luffy didn't come back, which, you know, we know he comes back, but if he didn't come back, like, freaking Kaido would have been like, oh my freaking gosh, it happened again. And it was cool. Like, CP0 was like, yeah, we know he's gonna be mad, he's gonna freaking come after us, but we freaking gotta get rid of that Luffy guy. And it was cool seeing like some backstory and like, oh, the Gum Gum fruit has some extra details and whatnot. And like, I was like, what's so important about the Gum Gum fruit? And then they're like, it's the human fruit, and it belonged to a sun god who is also known as Joy Boy. So like it connects back with the whole Arc's incident, Noah Arc, and like Joy Boy and stuff, and like it's like, oh, there's so many things that are like coming together. Like now we know who Joy Boy was, and Luffy is now somehow Joy Boy, and in Gear 5 is freaking wild. Like, I'm not sure if they're gonna do other gear forms in the future, and if they do, I know it's gonna be like somehow levels up or like Super Saiyan forms of Gear 5, but like Gear 5 is freaking wild. Like, I loved how he interacts with the environment, like how he can just mess with the clouds, he can mess with the ground, make a wall, and use that wall to send back a fireball that Kaido shot at him. He just grabs like lightning from the air. Like, it's so funny, but it's so cool. Like, it's such a wild gear form of Luffy, and I love the way they animate it. Like, of course it's freaking amazing. Like, 1071 and 1072 are like probably my most memorable episodes now, because freaking Luffy goes freaking wild with Gear 5, and like the way they animate it is just so rememberable. Gosh, English. And then the way Luffy beats Kaido with his freaking massive fist that like basically blots out the whole sky. Like, that was such a wild imagery. And like, it was so cool, like seeing Kaido have some kind of like final form too. Like, he also went like Super Saiyan 2, like his form. Like, it was cool seeing that. Like, that just shows you that he never had to like do that for anybody except for Luffy in his 5th gear form. Like, it was cool. Like, just the way that he fought back, and oh my gosh, they outdid themselves with the whole Gear 5 and like how he smacked them Kaido. And then after their victory, it was cool seeing Luffy recognized as one of the new emperors of the seas. And then also their new bounties of Luffy, Law, and Eustace. Like, they all have the same bounty, but we know Luffy's gonna get more of a bounty than those guys in the future. And to finish off the whole Wano Arc, it was cool seeing our boy Shanks again. And he freaking shows up with his freaking color supreme aura. Like, he just shows up, he's able to smack a plant dude from 50 miles away. Like, well, how is this guy even fair? Like, I freaking I really want to see what the Shanks guy can do, but they always just like they cuck us. Like he shows up, he does something, and he scares people off, you know. Like, but I want to see what this dude can do. Like, oh my gosh! All right, and then after Wano is the Egghead arc. Before going into this arc, I was kind of like not really stressed, but I was like kind of worried about like where's this story's gonna go now that Luffy has become an emperor. I know that they're gonna be heading to Raft Hill and stuff, but like I didn't really have any like crazy expectations like where the story's gonna be going. But then frickin' Emu drops a frickin' bomb, or like whoever, the elders, whatever, they frickin' destroy a whole island. Like then I was like holy crap. And then in Egghead they talk more and more about the Void Century, and I'm like, I'm back. Like I want to know more about this Emu dude. How the frick did they destroy an entire island? I want to learn more about the Void Century, because we're seeing like all these things on Egghead that are like referencing the Void Century. And you also got Blackbeard fighting Bull Hancock and capturing Kobe. And then you also see frickin' Shanks frickin' obliterate Eustace Kid's pirates. Like he just, it was cool seeing Broggy and Dory back. Like, oh my gosh, I was so happy seeing them move back. And they freaking whipped out that one move that they clapped that one fish with. Oh my gosh, what's that freaking hype? But yeah, no, my worries were completely obliterated once they showed like a bunch of these things. Like I'm like, I'm back. I wanna see what's going on here. And it was definitely cool seeing Luffy versus Lucci. I was always curious, like, how did the CP9s become CP0s? Because like they freaking got wrecked. You'd think they would have just kicked them out of the CP group, or like they would have just left them as CP9 fellows. But they got cracked, you know. They awakened their fruits, so then it became more scary. But it still seems like they can't handle the Gear 5. Like Lucci got freaking wrecked. Other than Lucci getting freaking wrecked and getting more Gear 5, I liked seeing Vegapunk and like his other Vegapunks. Like it was cool. I've always been curious about this dumb Vegapunk guy, and it's really cool that he has a fruit that basically makes him memorize things. So that's why he has like this big memory bank that his freaking apple head is connected to. Like I've always been curious about this Vegapunk guy and like how he's so smart, and it's just because he can memorize everything. So that it makes sense, and it's really cool seeing like how everything is slowly coming together, but we're also left with so many questions that need to be answered. And we'll definitely learn more once they head off to Elbaf in the future. But yeah, where I stopped, we definitely saw how freaking cracked Garp is. Like, holy crap, is there a Garp Gap? Like, I didn't understand like how strong Garp was and why people keep calling him a hero until, you know, we see this guy freaking cook on this pirate island. Like, oh my gosh, now I know why this dude was freaking known as the rival to Goldie Rogers. Like, this dude freaking cooked the whole island, like, with just one punch. Like, holy crap. And then to finish off where my cliffhanger basically ended, I saw our boy Kobe and how he was able to do freaking his honesty impact. Like, holy crap, was that wildly animated, and it made me so happy. Like, I wanted to see Kobe like become stronger, so like he could somehow combat Luffy in the future, and this just makes me hyped. Like, I don't know where they're gonna go in the future, and like how the Marines and the pirates are gonna like somehow coexist, or what they're gonna do together. Like, I don't know where the world's gonna go, and like how Luffy and Kobe are gonna get back together. But like, man, is a cool seeing Kobe also get strong along with Luffy. Like, god dang, yeah, rip Garp's sacrifice. But like, I have a feeling he's gonna come back. I don't think he's dead, because every time what's his face, Ice Boy, fights somebody, it turns out like the people he fights somehow live. I'm pretty sure Garp's still alive. Like that big giant boy from Elbaf. Like, it was cool knowing that he's alive. Oh my gosh, I was so happy knowing that guy's alive. So if that guy's alive, I'm gonna assume Garp's alive, because he fought with the freaking Aokiji. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm pretty much caught up. I have like maybe 7 or 9 episodes. I think there's like 11:30 when I'm making this video, or 11:29, and yeah, I'll be caught up right after I finish this video, and I'm freaking hyped. Like, I've been enjoying the journey, like as I've been saying, like for the past couple of these writing episodes. I'm freaking hyped. Like, there's so many questions that still need to be answered. I will now be able to suffer along with all the other One Piece boys, because I will be waiting a week to watch the new episodes when I get up, so. But yeah, no, let's just jump into the next section, which is me and my brother just chatting about random stuff in the whole series, maybe, just like some random questions. Alright, let's jump into this dumb video thingamajiggy, so, yeah, Steve's here. I stopped at 7:46. We're gonna be chatting with the Steve guy, because, you know, he told me to go on this dumb, wicked One Piece journey, so we're just gonna go over the sheet while he's, you know, in the background, and ask him, you know.
Please watch One Peak.
Exactly, One Peak. But yeah, no, I stopped out with 7:46. There isn't that many characters, as you could tell.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
You know, compared to some of these, I've definitely gotten lazy, like, on these, like, later episodes. But, like,
okay,
it's still,
but they
I just
honestly,
try to
like,
get
in
the
the
big
later
boys, you know?
Yeah, and in the later episodes, they introduce a lot of people that aren't as important, so... Like, I feel like a niche character, even though he's pretty important, actually. Like, in, like, that, like, episode genre, I'd say it was, Grount. Like, those three were pretty important, pretty cool to include.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this was, I think this was, like, side story stuff. But, like, it was cool, like, maybe they'll come back in the future, or maybe they'll be
like
part of the new
like
generation, you know?
Yeah, they're like the new gen Marine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, part of what's his face?
Kobe's type.
Kobe, yeah, he'll be part of Kobe's group and stuff. Yep.
Yeah, that gen.
Let's look at some highlights. So, big elephant trunk. I already mentioned this in the first part of the video, but like, it was so cool. Well, what were your thoughts when, like, what's his face? Momonosuke was talking to, like, freaking...
Yeah, when Momonosuke had the voice of I can't remember what it was called, but like
Zunesha. He was talking to
like
Zunesha
he could hear all voices or something, like where he could hear Sea King, Zunesha, and talk to Zunesha and everything. That was so cool, and it makes sense. And I mean, with later explanation, like down the line, we understand why his lineage is just goated.
Yeah, exactly.
But when he was saying, like, when Zunisha's saying, like, I can't do anything until you tell me to. And then he says, like, get rid of them, get rid of Jack. And then he freaking smacks them out the sky. That was so dope.
Dude, the freaking elephant.
No effort.
He set himself up, like, he like threw him in the air and then he smacked them, like.
Yeah, dude, it literally
wild.
Baseball.
Yeah, dude, that was so
They
cool.
got smoked.
Yeah, so I show that, but it's like, oh, it's such a hype moment. Like,
no, that's such a good, yeah.
But yeah, no, that was the main thing. Like, I also said the main thing I liked was learning about, like, road poneglyphs and, like, how the samurais are connected to, like, the poneglyphs and stuff. So, like, it was cool having that revealed in, like, this section.
Yeah, so. And then later down in the line too, like we were talking, it gets revealed more that, you know, some people know about the poneglyphs. Yep. Which is pretty dope.
But then we get the big Momma Arcs, and, you know, the big boy. The main guy, the guy that carries the whole arc for me.
100%, dude.
Katakuri.
He's, like, out of all the characters they introduced, he's definitely number one by far.
Yep.
He's so dope.
Yep. His drip. I remember talking to somebody and they're like, "Yo, Katakuri's drip is crazy." You know, he had the like the cowboy boots with the spurs. You know.
Yeah, dude.
And then he had like
his drip is unmatched, dude.
Yeah, dude. I
love literally, And dude, and when like he showed, like, he was the first one to show Future Sight, like actual Future Sight.
Yeah, like cracked Future Sight. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was a good introduction for Luffy to figure out Future Sight.
Yeah, I agree. Like I mentioned this for, like, I freaking not hate, but, like, it was so sad seeing how whooped Luffy was getting. Like, Katakuri did everything that Luffy was doing so much better.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Like, literally, Katakuri did everything that Luffy could do, but better, and that just hurt. You know, I was like, damn, what's the point then?
Yeah, but then, like, you slowly get those flashbacks with Rayleigh, and then you see, like, Luffy getting more and more cracked, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I love this.
You're seeing his observation hockey unlock to advance.
Yeah.
And, like, then you see, I feel like, in my opinion, at the end of that fight with Katakuri and Luffy, I feel like Katakuri, I mean, he lost technically, but I feel like he could have won on more, but he's just like, nah, he's seeing in the future.
I know, I love the way that fight ends. Like, I don't mention this in the beginning of the video, but, like, I love the way the fight ends. Like, first he lands on his front, you know? But then he stands up when Luffy's, like, standing toe-to-toe with him, and he's like, I'm ready to go another round. But then Katakuri's like, yo, how far in the future can you see, you know, and stuff? And then like
Yeah.
Luffy was like, "I'm gonna be the Pirate King," and then he's like, "Yo, you're seeing so far in the future," and then he
Yeah,
falls
and
on
I'm
his
like,
back,
damn.
and I'm like,
Yep.
"Yo, he
Oh,
doesn't fall on his back."
yeah.
So
I think
it was tight. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I think that highlights Luffy's biggest characteristic too when it
Mhm.
comes to be like fighting is like he never like stays down. You have to like kill him, and even when he dies, he still goes back
Yeah.
up somehow.
Hey, that's spoilers. That's the next arc. That's the next arc.
Hey, that was like a almost that's just Luffy,
Yeah, but
he never stays down.
that's for real. Yeah. But then
Yeah.
another hype moment and sad moment was definitely Luffy versus Sanji. Like, oh my gosh, for you is what do you rank the sad moments? Like for me, I still think Usopp and Luffy is like
I
a lot
think
more sad than this one. But
the worst one for me was the worst like the most sad moment in One Piece for me was definitely Usopp versus Luffy,
mm-hmm.
and then it would go Ace, and then probably this. I know probably the Mary, and then
oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the Mary, but yeah, no.
Yeah, but like the difference between Luffy versus Sanji and Luffy versus Usopp, like when it was like Luffy versus Usopp, it was like two friends. Like it felt so real,
mm-hmm.
and like it felt like a genuine, real interaction. And the dialogue that they had in that just felt so like impactful.
Yeah, it was.
And how Usopp was feeling, he felt useless, and I was like, damn.
I know it freaking hit so hard.
Yeah.
And then
But,
you
like,
mentioning Mary is a good point too, because like
Yeah.
freaking not only were they fighting, but they were fighting over like Mary and like oh
Yeah, exactly. She's a part of the crew.
yeah,
She took us all here. It's like you're right, and like getting rid of like the Mary is almost getting rid of another crew member. And
Exactly.
It was almost, and she passed, and I was like, damn.
yeah, dude.
So that's like that links up as well with both of those. So that's why it's like the saddest for me.
Yeah, dude.
But I feel like for Luffy,
it hit so hard when Going Mary like saves them and like
oh my god,
that hits so hard. And then legit the next episode you hit that super high, and then she like dies in the next one.
Yeah,
like,
everybody's
oh
like saved. You're like, what? The Mary? What? She saved us. She came
Yeah.
to save us. And then boom, next episode she's dead.
Mm-hmm. Gosh.
And she gives her farewell, and then they're all crying. And like when I was watching them say their goodbyes and Mary
Yeah,
say
I know.
goodbye, my tears
I teared
were
up.
going.
I teared up.
Oh.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
sad. But yeah, no.
But yeah, I think the biggest difference for me from Luffy versus Usopp to Luffy versus Sanji, I think in the back of our minds we know Sanji's doing it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reason, and like
yeah,
also
that
like,
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we know that Sanji is kind to heart, and he
Mhm.
doesn't want to put his crewmates in danger. But we know with Luffy, he's never gonna let Sanji just throw his life away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like he said, oh man, like see, this is why it's still like a top moment. For
Yeah, this
sadness,
is
because,
crazy.
Like Luffy gets his ass beat, doesn't lift any hand. He
Yeah, that
lets,
was so.
Sanji beat his booty cheeks.
Yep.
And then at the end, Luffy says, "It hurts you more than it hurts me." And then he says, "I'll never be king of the pirates without you, so I'll stay here until you make me food." I'm like, God damn! And Luffy fulfills that promise.
Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't
legit
eat
staying
food.
there. He didn't eat anything until then. Oh
Yeah,
my
and then
gosh.
Luffy takes on a whole army from an
That
emperor.
was crazy too. Yeah.
Yes, after getting his booty cheeks swiped.
Yeah,
from
legit,
Sanji.
Sanji shows up and like it's nothing but like dead bodies.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, no, exactly. Bodies everywhere. And then Luffy, like to top it off, Luffy didn't eat any food. He was getting beat up the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he got back, he had to fight a whole army. Golly!
Yep.
So that's why it's still tough, but like it's
Yeah,
just
no,
not as sad. We know the
exactly.
motivation.
Yeah, that is a good way of putting it because like with Usopp, like you understood what was happening too, but like it was just so sad because like
It felt so real.
yeah.
And
but,
I
like,
didn't know where it was gonna go.
But this one, you know that there's something that's preventing Sanji from coming back, and like all
Yeah.
Luffy has to do is just stop that thing.
Yeah.
But like
It's
still
Usopp
sad.
with Usopp and Luffy, it almost felt like it wasn't even like something you could beat.
Exactly, it was just happening.
Like an actual emotion and connection.
Yeah,
like
'cause,
an emotional disconnection.
Yeah, because like me as a viewer, I'm like I don't want them to give up the Going Mary, but like
Yeah.
I also understand like they have to,
Yeah, she's dying. She
Mhm.
can't be repaired. And
Yep.
then Usopp feels like that he's holding them back. And then also Usopp doesn't want to get rid of the Mary.
Mhm.
And Luffy doesn't want to too, but he knows it. Like, dude, it was just so rough.
It was so bad. Yeah, there were
That's
so
why I
many
said-
bad things with Sanji and Luffy. Like there was bad things too, but it was like you
It
know,
was more like
you could
just get
see
rid
them
of the
coming back
problem with
together.
Big
But
Mom.
with
Yeah.
Usopp and Luffy, you had a fear of them actually splitting up. You know.
Yeah, it was like it was almost like a fear of losing friendship.
Hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, that's probably the worst thing for Luffy,
Mhm.
actually.
Yeah, so I still think, like you're saying, I still think Luffy versus Sanji is probably the saddest moment in the whole show for me. Of
Luffy
course,
versus
there's
Sanji or Luffy versus
no,
Usopp?
just Usopp versus Sanji. My bad.
Yeah.
I said
Okay.
it wrong.
No, you good. You good. I understood though.
But yeah, no. Gosh dang.
Dude, that scene too with Jinbei.
Yeah, I know. I mentioned
That's
this.
when he stole our hearts, bro.
This so cool. Like
Yeah,
I
he
think
already had our hearts, but he
okay.
stole that shit.
What was your thoughts when she was trying to steal his soul, and then he's like,
Nah.
"Yeah, nah, man." What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Because like I
Dude,
said
no.
that it's freaking wild, you know.
Yeah, dude, this is the first time we've seen an Emperor of the Sea go into action, besides Whitebeard.
Mhm.
But that's like he was literally a cancer patient on like support, and he
Mhm.
was still whooping like ass. But like
Exactly.
like an Emperor of the Sea, we saw like what Whitebeard could do, and we see like we see Big Mom now. She
Mhm.
is scary. She takes your life. She like literally steals your soul.
Life
But like
or
Jinbei,
death.
yeah, and Jinbei staying locked in, saying like,
I want
nah,
to see
bro. And
Luffy's
everybody,
future. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, and even Big Mom was like, wait, what? I can't steal your soul? And like Jinbei not scared at all because he's like, bro, I'm like I'm gonna be a part of the Pirate King's crew. Why
Yep.
should I be scared of the
I'm
mere
gonna see
Emperor? I was like,
I'm gonna see the
God
next Pirate King, and that's gonna be Luffy.
damn.
And I'm like, oh
Yeah, and I'll be on
God.
his crew, bro. And I was like, God
God
damn.
damn.
No, that's when he stole my heart, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
yep, he's just
Jimbei. I
bad.
love Jimbei. And then another moment I liked was how I wasn't sure how he was gonna fit in the crew, but then like
Mhm.
they didn't really have like a true like ship operator,
role.
you know.
Yeah, they didn't
So,
have the
like,
helmsman.
exactly, and then
Yeah.
Jimbei fills that role, and like how he was able to ride that one wave. Like I was like,
Yeah, and
that's
it makes so much
crazy.
sense
Mhm.
as a fishman being able like to understand the ocean like that. It
Exactly.
makes
Yep.
so much sense.
Yeah, so
So
that's
that was
cool.
perfect. I
You
love
know,
that.
I'm happy. Like, boom, he has his place now. Not only can he
Yeah.
like go in the water and stuff, but he can control that dang old ship. You know.
Yeah, dude, and like also just having a fishman on the crew with some people with devil fruits.
That's
Man,
what I was thinking
they're
too.
good.
Now they're
They're good.
safe because like
Yeah, dude.
if they get launched in the water, boom, here comes Jimbei.
You have
know?
Jinbei, and
Yep.
Jinbei literally is like tough as hell. He's
Yeah.
so strong.
Yeah,
That's why he's such a good addition.
I love Jimbei.
Yeah.
And then you were saying how at one point Luffy was like, you know, I want 10 members on my crew, and then he fills in that 10th slot, right?
Yep.
Yep. So
I think like including him is
yeah, including Luffy, it's 10. But
yeah.
but who knows? Who knows who the 10th is? You know, if there's
No,
if there's
yeah, no,
gonna be 10, you know.
I'm hearing some rumors that the next arc might have a 10th member, but it's not
Ooh.
confirmed. But I heard that it
Okay.
might be.
All right, that's hype.
So,
But yeah, no, even if
yeah.
they don't, like, boom, there's 10 already, you know.
dude, and Jack, you know what the next arc is? That's Elbaf.
Yeah, I
Imagine
know.
having somebody from Elbaf, bro.
Dude, when I was seeing some
That'd be so
flashbacks
cool.
with Elbaf, you know,
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this is cool. We're bringing back our Elbaf boys, you know.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm so happy that literally Luffy was the one to settle their score.
Mm-hmm.
Not Luffy himself, but like them going to the island,
Yeah,
they
the Straw
finally like
Hats.
settled their score and everything.
Mhm.
They remembered everything that they were doing, and they were like, "Oh, that's not a big deal." And then now they're a big deal in the story again.
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
so cool. And they were like the guys. They were the giants.
Yeah, they were the top boys. Like they both had a chance of having the top chair or top seat.
Yeah, they literally showed an attack that was like as strong or even stronger than Big Mom and Kaido's attack on Wano,
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
or so early in the anime.
Exactly. Yep. When they clapped that one big fish, right?
Yeah, when they did that combined attack, they
Mhm.
showed that so early.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you
And
later
I was like,
and then
huh?
later you see it again, and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
that's big hype.
Yep. And then we saw Kaido and Big Mom do kind of like a recreation of that.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And they had that sword. Dude, these guys are, I know they're going to be like menaces.
I know.
I feel like
can't.
these guys are like Yonko, like not, yeah, they have to be like Emperor level.
I am
You know what I'm saying?
I am so hyped to see like what more they can do because like
Yeah.
we've seen them early on, but like we didn't see like anything that they could do. They were just fighting each other. That's it.
Yeah, dude. Imagine the strength of a giant that's like fully trained.
Mhm.
Like they have like that. They gotta be like Kaido
Dude, they've been
level,
fighting
you know what
for
I'm saying?
years, so they're like
Yeah,
honed,
that's what
you
I'm
know.
saying. And they've been training against each other for what 100 years was it or something?
I forgot
50
how
years?
long, but it's wild.
God, yeah,
They've legit
still.
been training for that ages, you know.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that picture goes
The
crazy.
graphics.
No. That arc, they glazed Nami crazy.
Well, it's just
I was
funny.
having,
Like this
I mean,
one
what?
episode, they went crazy on the animations, and they just had to do some crazy animations, and I'm like, the graphics.
Monkey brain activated. Sorry.
Monkey brain. All right,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh,
But yeah,
Pedro.
now Pedro, rip Pedro. It
Yep, that's
also
sad
sucked
too.
that like he didn't even like damage him that much. Like he did rip off an arm
Yeah,
and
he
stuff,
didn't even kill him.
but like
Like I think,
he was just fine.
yeah,
It seemed, you know.
yeah. And also, just like when we finally heard of Pedro's backstory of why he understood Whole Cake,
Hmm.
damn, he lost his whole life, like literally his lifespan. That's so sad.
Yeah, I know.
He
Like
had a few years to live.
he
Dude,
stole
he's like, fuck it.
so many years of stolen from him. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it makes sense why he was so like what's it called traumatized,
Hmm.
hard. Pause.
Pause. What were your thoughts when this happened? Like that briefcase blowing up and stuff.
Oh,
Like I had totally forgot about like the
dude,
fishmen. People talking about how they
that
set
was
up a
such a
bomb.
good callback. Yeah. No, like when they were talking about that during Fishman Island, when like they were saying like, wait, what about that chest that we had?
Yeah, and the
It had
treasure. Yeah,
explosives.
yeah,
And that's literally right after Luffy was talking to Big Mom or something, right?
yeah. He was giving them the
Yeah.
treasure. Yeah.
Yikes! And then when they actually showed it, wow, that's so good, and that
Mhm.
helped out with everything too.
Exactly the
That
timing.
was such a good callback.
It was great.
Yeah, dude, that's Oda does best, dude.
Mhm.
He calls back
Legit.
tons of times.
I don't.
It's
I didn't.
insane.
I didn't even put the episode number, but I should have like. Oh, I didn't know.
Oh
it's
yeah,
the time.
done like when they mentioned it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, that's funny.
Dude, introduction to Germa was pretty cool too, and we got Sanji's
Oh,
background.
yep,
That was
yep.
dope.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
You got the transformations.
The transformations were. That's just the episode where they transformed. So
Yeah,
if
dude,
I
you got
ever
the
wanted to come back.
stereotypical. That was literally the stereotypical anime transformations. It was
Mhm.
pretty cool to see in One Piece.
Exactly.
And like it's so cool. It's so cool to see that like people mentioning Germa as like they read the comic books about them and they're actual superheroes. Like that's pretty cool to see.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me though, are we gonna talk about Sanji's backstory
Oh yeah, if you want to, yeah, we can.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to talk about it because
Yeah,
like
go for it.
we,
Yeah, because
we did
I
of course
barely
see
I barely talked about it, so this is good. Yeah, we can talk about that.
yeah perfect. Okay, so we did see Sanji's original backstory back when he was saved by Zeph.
Hmm.
That was so cool. But then it added such a big layer when they added this to see Sanji's full backstory of his family.
Yeah.
And it was like, damn.
Well,
His
yeah,
mother
'cause,
was
like-
such a kind-hearted person. That's where he got his kind heart.
Yep. The
He's
big thing
always
that
kind.
always confused me is like, why is Sanji, a human, able to like do so much damage and stuff, and like
Yeah.
kick all these monsters? But it's because like he was training as a kid for like because of his
Yeah.
parents that were freaking Germa 66
Yeah,
people.
and they're literally in his genes. He had
Yeah.
the hidden Germa gene,
Mhm.
like the hidden what's it called?
Even though
Modified
it wasn't like
superhuman stuff.
complete cracked, it's still
Yeah.
stronger than a human, you know.
And it makes so much sense to like why Zeph was strong,
Mhm.
but like Sanji, he was just like it was like it didn't make sense. Type strong.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like he didn't even train. He doesn't train on screen.
Yep.
He literally cooks.
We didn't see him train on screen, but then
Yeah.
you see this background, and he's been training ever
Mhm.
since he's a kid, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's just like he was just cooked like from the start.
Yeah.
He was cooking,
Mhm.
and then it was so sad to see that like his like as a kid he was literally treated the worst
I
as
know.
a child, bro. He was put into prison as a child.
Yeah, no, that
Like, are you
his
serious?
freaking cage head was wild.
Yeah, dude, that's so sad.
Mhm.
But then the only person that was nice to him was his mother. Then his mother
Yep.
died, and then
what is it,
Yeah.
Reiju? Reiju was pretty.
yeah,
nice
Reiju was like the only one who showed slight signs of actual humanity, and she was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the coolest thing though was after Sanji came back, like after like the whole arc,
Mhm.
and when like now like where he's at now, and he's strong. I'm pretty sure like he's like especially now he's way stronger than. But during that time, I feel like he was way stronger than like, at that point too.
Mhm.
But to show that like his brother still had his back, or like his family still tried to help after all these years, even though he's been punished, was pretty cool. I'm still don't
I know,
forgive them. They fucked them up.
I know. I don't forgive them either, but like it was really cool
Like, it
seeing
was
them.
nice.
Seeing them escape the island, you know.
Yeah, seeing them actually be like, all right, let's get these guys out of here. We got them. That
Mhm.
was cool because Sanji, like, even it doesn't matter how much you beat up Sanji, how much you treat him bad, he'll still be nice to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
I
like,
know.
damn, that shows his character so much.
And then later on,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about more. But I mean, like, you remember that scene where like, Luffy was talking, like, it was literally when Luffy got his food, And then Luffy was like, "What do you want to do?" And Sanji's like, "I know I hate them and they treated me wrong, but I still want to save them."
Yeah, exactly.
And then Luffy was like,
Yep.
"That's Sanji." You know, I was like, "Damn, that's
Yep.
it's so hard." You know,
I know. And then Luffy's like, "Well, now we gotta save them."
Let's
you know?
do it.
Yep.
Yeah,
now
let's
we gotta
crush
save
a
them.
wedding, bro.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Yo, let's go."
That was big hype.
And then that
yeah.
scene with Bej, their gang scene,
Yep,
tough.
I know. I had to show clips of that. It made me laugh, like how stylized it was.
Yeah. And then Luffy just being Luffy, ruining the whole vibe.
Yep.
It doesn't seem gang at all.
I like
What were
how,
you gonna say?
I like how his straw hat's like on top of his.
Yeah, on
the
top
hat.
of his
Yeah.
gangster hat.
This is something that I've been thinking. So we got
Yes.
background on Sanji. We got
Okay.
background on like I don't know, like Jimbei and stuff, and like what characters like haven't we got like too much background on? We've got quite a lot on Luffy. I'd say like for me, Zoro, we need some more background on him. Like
I was gonna say that.
we had
Like, it
background with
does-
the whole when he was a kid and like how he became a samurai and like that one girl that gave him his sword now, or
Yeah.
she died and he took that sword. But like that's
Mhm.
the only background I really have on him.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say there is a lot more in the manga and also like explained through
Mhm.
Oda about Zoro's backstory, but they should have like in Wano. That's when they explained it. But
Oh,
like
they
they should
didn't
have
do it?
done. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they didn't put in like as much. Like they
Okay.
should have put in a lot more for Zoro's backstory.
Yeah, and
And,
who
like,
knows?
if
They
you-
might bring up more in the future, right?
Yeah, I hope so. But like I'm pretty sure like with the remake, I hope they do that. You know.
Mhm.
But yeah, they did have Zoro's backstory, and we could talk about that when we are in Wano
Mhm.
about his backstory to actually because like I didn't know as well from when I finished it, but like after watching through like a bunch of videos of people talking about it,
Yeah.
and also just learning about Zoro's like lineage and looking back on a bunch of episodes, I was like, oh damn, so now it makes sense. So we can talk
Okay.
about that.
Yeah, because like every every character had some kind of backstory. Like Nami had a pretty sad backstory.
Mhm.
Usopp, we basically saw how Usopp like grew up. And then Chopper, we've
Yeah, we
seen
saw-
Chopper's backstory. And then
Yeah, I feel
Sanji,
like
we finally got Sanji's backstory. But it and then Robin, we have Robin's backstory now too. So like it just
Yep.
there's a lot of backstories that like we've gotten, but I feel like
I think Zoro's.
I feel
is
Zoro's
definitely-
the one that's like the most
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
about.
what. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying like, do you just want me to talk about it, kind of?
All right, we could chat about it now, and then we'll
Yeah, so,
talk
like,
about this.
So pretty much like Zoro's backstory, like his lineage. We know about. You remember when he was fighting Ryuuou in Thriller Bark?
And what?
You remember in Thriller Bark when he was fighting that
Oh
skeleton
yeah, we
swordsman?
can go back there.
Yeah.
What
so
episodes
that
were
was
they again?
yeah. So technically, that's Zoro's ancestor. That's one of his relatives way back in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the way he like Ryuuou was a person in a different anime that Oda wrote. It was like a one-shot samurai story about a samurai who killed a dragon. He was like a
Ah.
legendary swordsman, and
Okay.
so that's Ryuuou. And Zoro is Ryuma's,
Yeah,
what's it called?
ancestor.
A part of his lineage.
Yeah.
And then in Wano, if you see, you remember that one guy who had blue hair? Like he was like a blue-haired samurai who kind of looked like Zoro. He helped out Yamato. He was
Blue
like a
hair.
king. He was like a showman. I can't
Oh
remember.
yeah,
what they-
when Yamato was young, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
like
okay.
that was also his relative.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it was
another-
like his father or grandfather
Yeah,
or something.
it
But
was-
that's also him.
He's the person that steals the sword, right?
No. That's different. That's a different guy.
Okay, that's a different guy. Okay.
You probably have a picture of him, but yeah. So Ryuma's like his blood lineage. He had the sword. And then that other guy in Wano that we learned about in Yamato's young backstory when she was a kid.
Mhm.
That's also Zoro's relative. But
Okay.
there is a swordsmith that came from Wano all the way to the. They talked about it in the
Yeah, I remember them talking about that.
in
Where a
One Piece. Yeah, you
swordsmith.
who made Odin swords.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's like a master swordsmith thing, and he also I think he made Wano Ishimochi, which is Zoro's. What's her name again?
That one girl.
Yeah, her sword. Just a legendary swordsmith stuff.
What was her
But
name?
yeah, so like
Kunis.
yeah, so pretty much Zoro's lineage comes from Wano, and his whole lineage is like the what's it called? Like the best swordsmans almost. Like they're like the best samurai.
Dang. Okay, that's cool, and
Yeah.
it makes
And that-
sense because like, why wouldn't Zoro be from the samurai?
Yeah, land
The
of
samurai
Wano.
land.
And like people, yeah, and people from Wano literally recognize he looks like he's,
Mhm.
and he is like, and like all the samurai are like, damn, he reminds me of this samurai from Wano.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
if you like, you know how like One Piece has like he's the new Dave Roger, like you know how one Luffy's the new Dave Roger,
Yeah.
or you know like or somebody's the new Dave Garp or something.
Yeah.
Like Zoro is the new Dave Ryuuou, like because Ryuuou was such a legend in the past.
Ah,
like,
I
that,
see. Okay, so
Yeah, he's like the reincarnation of Ryuuou.
yeah, of course, and we all know that he's gonna be big swordman. Like
Dude, he's gonna be the best swordsman.
the only person he has to challenge now is freaking what's his face, Hawkeye, you know, whatever his name is.
Yep. Mihawk.
Mihawk. There we go. Yep.
Mr. Mihawk, the best swordsman in the world.
Yeah, no, and I'm curious how they'll combat each other in the future. Like,
Yeah.
what's his face?
I think the biggest thing that scares me is that Shanks and Mihawk literally spar
Mhm.
and they tie, and we haven't seen one Mihawk like named attack, but we did see Shanks named attack, and that shit, wow,
Dude, I know, right? But yeah,
That was
we'll
one
chat.
attack.
We'll chat more about that when we get there. You know?
yeah. Anyways,
Back to this. This was definitely my favorite moment in the
dude,
in the fight.
that's when it showed. That's when it showed that Katakuri is just that guy. He's
Yep.
such a cool character.
Yeah, when freaking dumb bubble blowing girl got in the
I
middle of
hated
the
her
fight.
so much. The worst character in that whole arc.
Exactly. And then when Katakuri realized, oh no, she got in the middle of our fight, freaking
Yeah, wait,
stabs himself. You
You
know?
made this fight unfair,
Yep.
and then he stabbed himself in the stomach, and then they both used their
Yep.
Conqueror's Hockey to knock him out.
Yep.
Woo!
Oh my
So
gosh.
tough.
Oh,
Yeah, no, dude, he's gonna be like the next Big Mom higher up or something.
Yeah, no, I hope that they fight. Not I don't know if I want
I
them to
hope-
fight Katakuri
No,
again, but like
I'm pretty
it
sure
would
like
be
with
cool.
the people gone, I'm like, and knowing what we know,
Mhm.
there's gonna be peace. There's gotta.
Yeah, exactly. The whole
They're
stragglers
gonna be
of
cool.
the Big Mama
Yeah.
pirates is. I'm curious where they're gonna be
Dude,
going.
they've been. Yeah, we also saw that scene with the. What was it caught on? Dude, yikes, yikes.
Big yikes.
Anyways,
Oh, what were your thoughts
Snake
when they had that
Snake
like
Man was cool.
Snake Man was cool? Yep. I thought it was. I was like, oh, fifth gear maybe, but no, it's just just another form of
Yeah, just Snake Man.
of,
But I think
Gear
that's
4.
such a cool one.
It is
I think
cool.
that's the best. That's the best design before Gear 5.
I think it was cool, like, because Gear 4 is, like, super big and bulky, but then you got
Mhm.
this, and, like, he's slimmed down.
Yeah, that looks like what Gear 4, like the original design, probably would have been. You
Mhm.
know?
Exactly, like, not too crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's really cool, because, like, his legit snake arms, you know, the way he's able to, like,
Yeah.
ricochet and stuff.
Yeah, dude, and like that little like ability where he says like, yeah, the more it ricochets, the faster it gets, and I'm like, huh? Like what?
What?
Yeah, dude, yeah, that's pretty cool. But what were we saying about the musical?
This thing, when, Big Mama was, like, eating the cake, but then also, there was also, like, they were attacking the, what was it called? The one ship. What is it called?
Oh yeah, when she finally got the cake, was it?
Yeah, she finally got the cake, and then
Yeah.
their Big Mama's ship cornered our the Thousand Sunny.
Yeah.
Like when that episode ended, I was like, "What the heck happened?" You know?
Yeah. No, that musical, like, dude, I liked how they introduced like the musicals for me. That was really.
hmm
I like that touch too,
And they had the teaser of her eating some people. You know?
dude. Dude, her backstory is probably the most disgusting.
I know it
That
is
is
freaking wild. I'm
Like we see it, like, oh, she's just eating cake. Nah, she ate her family, bro. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
dude.
And like not her technical family, but her foster family.
exactly
Bro, that's
foster family,
wild.
and like they were
And
being so
she doesn't
nice.
know. That's the scariest
She
thing.
was
Yeah,
being-
they were all nice.
They were also nice to her, and she was being nice too. But then she
Yeah,
just
and-
got into a food coma. You know?
Yeah, and like the fact that she doesn't know, she thinks that they just all
They just
disappeared.
left and they
That's
disappeared.
So scary, dude.
Ugh.
You ate them.
Yeah.
You ate them, bro.
And then that one,
Oh
that
my
one cooked
God.
sod, and he's like, "Yo, that's
Yeah, that
wild."
one cooked. Dude, that's such a cool fruit. Even though like it tastes like the thing he makes it out of, that is so.
That is cool. Like the whole island is basically his creation.
Yeah, and he could just make food out of anything. That's cool. Dude, yep, when he got his suit, yep.
Yep. And then
Luffy becoming the first fifth emperor ever, that
Yep.
was wild.
Yep. Even though like I said in the first part, I was like, even though it isn't like confirmed that he's the fifth, but you know he's
People are treating him as
the stuff that he's been doing basically gives him the fifth slot. You know.
Yeah, and then also like the fact that it does a callback to where like, oh yeah, and he commands 4,000 people. It's like, well, not really, but like the people literally
they just
force
follow him.
themselves to be a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's cool. Is like
So-
he doesn't say that he follows them, but I mean that he commands them, but they follow him. So then it's like
yeah, they
he's
follow him
commanded.
to like so it's literally like, nah, we're a part of you.
Yeah,
No, you're not.
exactly.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. It's like what?
That's so good.
Yeah, that was a cool callback.
Returning faces.
Yup.
Seeing this guy
New
again was
bounties.
wild.
Dude, that's when the bounties is when Sanji passed up Zoro and he was like, yeah, I gotta show this, bro. I gotta flex my shit.
Exactly. All right, and then I need
Dude,
to
the big
hear your
Straw-
thoughts when you saw Big Straw Hat and Shanks talking to the elders.
All right. Well, I know some stuff.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say
Oh, is
some
it
crazy.
in the later episodes?
Yeah, I
'Cause
know
I'm
some
s-
stuff.
I'm
Not
s-
about
I should have
not
said
about
this,
the
but
big straw hat.
I'm still on 1122 for those
Yeah,
listening.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
why
he's not caught up
that's why we're
fully.
not like talking about crazier stuff.
And I stay updated a little bit. Not like fully on. I don't read the manga,
Mhm.
but I stay up with the episodes and also keep up with information leaked out towards the episodes that you can kind of together. So I try to stay away from the manga so I can spoil myself.
Exactly. Yep.
But I have a theory for the big straw hat, which I kind of know as well, but I know about Shanks, and that is a big. I don't want to reveal too much, but I
Okay.
think like when I was watching this at the time, I would say what I was thinking is he was talking about Blackbeard. Like he wanted to make sure, dude, don't you gotta focus on Blackbeard because I mean he's always been talking about Blackbeard, you know, Shanks,
Interesting.
because he's like I think that's what he was talking about with the five elders. And the fact that he's able to meet with them just so casually, I won't spoil. And then the big straw hat, I have a theory. I think like you know, I think the straw hat being passed down is almost like symbolism for like the next, you know,
Yeah, the next big boy.
you know, big boy, big peacemaker type
Mhm.
thing. And you know what we've seen with Luffy in the episodes is he is literally Joy Boy.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and I think that big straw hat was like the original Joy Boy. I think that was like
That's what I was
like
thinking
a
too.
giant
Okay.
or something. A
I need-
giant had a big giant
Exactly.
straw hat. I think
So
we-
how do you think it was created? You know, like the big straw hat. Like for me,
I think it was just like yeah.
I think it was somehow created like because you know how like Luffy's able to go gigantosize and his clothes
Yeah.
go get gigantosized too.
Yeah, he
They
literally
somehow, like,
does whatever he can.
They somehow stopped Joy Boy when he was in giganto mode, you know, and that's why they have the. That's why
Yeah,
they
I'm
have a
thinking
giant
like
straw
for me,
hat.
I think the original Joy Boy was genuinely a giant,
Oh, maybe
and
that.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and I think like his original hat was that,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think that's why they kept like that's why Emu keeps that in preservation because the old Joy Boy they executed or like they actually got him,
Yeah.
you know, and that's probably why like you know like that like Luffy's gonna be the one to actually free people, like he's gonna be the real Joy Boy.
Yeah.
But I think that's why like he lost, and that's why they have that straw hat.
Yeah.
It's almost like a make sure nobody like Joy Boy comes back,
Exactly.
or nobody with that fruit comes back. you
Yeah,
know?
I'm definitely hoping that they call back to this, you know, because like this is such a weird episode to show this,
Yeah.
and it's also just like a weird thing to have. Like, why is there a giant straw hat? You know?
Yeah. And
What
so
the
that's why
hell?
it's cool. Yeah, and for me, I think when Shanks was having that meeting, I think it was about Blackbeard, and
Okay.
that's only my speculation. Because
And that makes
I mean,
sense,
if you
'cause,
look
like-
at it, Blackbeard's going to be that guy. I feel like we're either going to get Blackbeard's confrontation first, and then the world government, or we're going to get the world government and then Blackbeard.
Okay.
Because Blackbeard, he's like the opposite of Luffy. It's almost like tyranny, you know,
Yeah, that makes
against
sense.
freedom.
I think there's gonna be some kind of confrontation with Shanks and Luffy, and then we're gonna get somehow maybe the final island, and then it's gonna be like Blackbeard and the world government, or the world government and then Blackbeard. You know.
Yeah, I'm pretty like for me, I'm hoping that it's the world government and Blackbeard because they had Blackbeard show like that he was like the villain for like since that one episode in was it Jaya
The
where like
one
they
island?
first introduced Blackbeard. I think it was Jaya. It was like episode 1. Maybe?
It was 100
It
something, I
was
think.
Yeah, it was when they were going to Skyland. It was after
It
they
was
met
before
Robin.
Skyland, yep.
It was oh yeah, before Skyland.
Right here. This is when they
Yeah,
this is
and
when
it
they
was when
show him, but like
they had this introduction. It literally just showed that he was the absolute opposite of Luffy. It was like the
Mhm.
perfect introduction of like the main villain. And then also like his ideology. Like he believes in freedom as well, but his freedom is more like, if you're not strong, we could just kill you. But Luffy's freedom is just, everybody should just do their own thing.
exactly, yep. Yeah, no, that's cool.
The strong can do whatever they want, while the weak just have to suffer. But Luffy's is everybody's free.
Yeah, so I didn't
Kind
think
of thing.
Blackbeard was gonna be as big as he is, but then you see him in what's it called, Marineford, and like how he's slowly gaining more powers
Yeah.
with this whole.
And the fact that he's the first person ever to show that he's using devil fruits.
Yeah, exactly. And then like now that we see that he's stealing these devil fruits and stuff, and, like,
He's literally making an army of the best devil fruits.
and I'm still not sure like how he's stealing them. Like he has to do something with corpses, it seems.
Yeah,
But, like,
and I'm guessing that's why he was so obsessed with the darkness fruit.
Exactly, and that's what I'm thinking too. Like maybe it's the
That
darkness
probably has
fruit
to do
that's
with
able to
something.
steal the fruit somehow.
Yeah,
'Cause,
like able to like seal it or something.
Yeah, because like
Because like I mean, if it affects it so it doesn't work on them, it probably could like steal it or something. I don't know. I don't know how.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to learn more about Blackbeard too, and he's definitely on that list of like, yep, he's a part of the end game. We don't know when we're gonna see him again, but he's coming up,
Yep. And dude, that picture right there, from seeing Shanks to looking at the 5 elders and talk to him, to the 5 elders bowing to a king that shouldn't exist because they literally say there's no king.
Yep. This was such a
man.
cool like picture. I was like, I got screenshot.
Dude, that was a big. Literally, when I saw that, I was like, "What the fuck?" And then they were showing that person looking at the big straw hat, and then that person said,
"Yeah, now he's on the throne." Like, wait, so this guy's got big roles.
So this is like the final boss. That's why I'm like, either way, like Blackbeard or Emu, will be the final. Shits.
Yeah, the big confrontation. Like, I don't care which one it is, but like.
It's just we gotta understand both.
Exactly. I don't know anything about both, Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then
I saw
we got
that.
movie teaser, and then this was cool seeing Ace
flashback
talking to little girl. What's her name?
Ace's whole flashback in Wano is so nice.
What was her name? This girl, Tama.
Tama.
When he was talking to Tama, and then Tama being so sad when Luffy's like, "Yeah, he's dead."
Yeah, dude, Luffy just brought it up. Just literally.
I like how he did. He doesn't even like mention that he's his brother.
He's his brother.
Like she figures it out because Nami tells her.
Yeah, when she finally learned, she's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, that
and then
sucks.
like Nami's like, "Yeah, he watched him die."
Watched him
like,
die.
Oh my god.
Dude, he died in his hands. Great. That's freaking wild. Yeah.
No, that watching your. Oh my.
That is that is why I agree that it's definitely like second saddest moment. Like Sanji's is sad, but oh my gosh, I was conflicted and sad at the same time for freaking Ace's death.
Mm-hmm. No, it was rough, dude. It's so rough.
But yeah, no. Then we got the Cracked Arc, Wano.
Dude, Wano.
It's their longest arc, and it sounds like it should have been longer because Zoro didn't get his backstory,
Yeah, I feel like that's why we didn't get too much backstory, because there's so much.
There was so much stuff already. Like I'm pretty sure they were like, "Yo, we have Oden's backstory, but now you want us to put in Zoro's backstory too." It would have just been a lot. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I would love it if they actually.
I would have too, because like I didn't mind. I was enjoying the Wano. It was definitely like long during the middle bit, but once they got to the island, like it went crazy fast.
Yeah, no, they did like for me when I was watching it like week to week, it still felt fast, like compared to like the other arcs, and it is. That's why I really liked it, because like it felt like, even though it's like the longest.
Yeah, even though like they were like slow bits, those slow bits were still like they were moving. There was something going on.
Yeah, there's something going on every single episode. It's not like you get an episode where it's just like blah 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 blah. It was like you were learning something that's happening to something.
Yeah, no, I think the intro to Kaido was really cool, and like how boom, Oh yeah, Kaido's a dragon, by the way.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah,
then-
he's a dragon, huh?
Huh? And then
And then he just wipes out a mountain.
he destroys
okay.
that mountain, and then Luffy gets really mad, and then boom.
He does
this
a
happens.
Kamehameha on the mountain, yeah, with the blast breath.
Luffy shows
Yeah,
up.
then
just
when
does
we
a
saw
big
Luffy-
punch.
Yep. Dude, see, when I saw that happening right away, I was like, wait, what? Luffy versus Kaido now?
Yeah, Luffy's. That was my same thought process too. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh dang, we have 100 and so many episodes before Luffy fights
Yeah,
Kaido.
no.
But then
Yeah,
legit,
no.
like the first 20 or so episodes, boom, Kaido versus
Yeah,
Luffy.
he hops right in, and then he gets one-shotted.
Yep. They
Which
were
is
like,
rough.
yep, our boy's got a lot to learn, you know.
Yeah.
But
Dude,
yeah,
then Sanji's transformation, that was so cool to see. Soba Mask, Stealth Black.
I'm kind of confused. Like, how did people know about Stealth Black? Was there somebody that was being Stealth Black for Sanji?
I think for the comic books, they probably wrote... Like, I know Sanji, like, was, like, literally abandoned as a child.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as, like just, like, lore-wise, they probably just had it in the comics. And so
Okay,
they
I
had
see.
that suit
So that's
for
why
Sanji.
people know about Stealth Black, because like
Yeah.
there's a lot of
And
people
it
that like
could- it
knew
would-
it. But I
Yeah,
was
it
just
would
like,
kind of make sense for scientists to already, like, develop the suit before, like, before Sanji and them grew up, you know?
Mhm,
So they probably had that in the works. This is just, like, mental lore for me.
mhm.
And they probably just had that in the back burner, and then they just incorporated the comics.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, yeah, because like I was wondering, like, how did the people know about Stealth Black when
Yeah,
he
that's
hasn't
such a
been in
good.
action?
That's such a good, like, look into, though, because, like, I'm like I didn't really think about that too.
Yeah, because like there's a bunch of people talking about that where I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
Stealth Black. I'm like, how do you know him?
Wait,
Because he's
but there wouldn't be, because
Yeah.
Sanji literally got discarded as
Exactly.
a child.
and
Yeah.
why does he have the can and nobody used the can? You know.
Yeah, and why don't they just give it to... Yeah. No, it just didn't make sense.
All right, let's see. Oh, this was cool. I loved seeing Zoro versus what was it?
Dude,
Uh,
Zoro
Kid.
fucking up Killer was so dope.
Kid's kid.
Kid's Killer.
Yeah, Kid's Killer.
Killer.
Yep. That was cool, and then
Kid's-
dumb weapons collector getting in the middle of the fight was so aggravating. Like, just
Yeah, no,
let
when he
them
was doing that,
fight.
I was so pissed.
Just let them.
I was
fight.
so pissed about
Ugh.
that, dude. Like, dude, give him back his sword.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
his sword.
Just give him the sword back.
And then once you learn that, like, story about his lineage literally being a part of Ryuu's lineage, I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, that's his. But then, like, it makes sense that, like, it's like a treasure of Wano.
Yeah, like
And then
it's
also,
understandable,
when we
but I'm
learn-
still like mad. You know, like
Yeah,
Ah.
and then it helps. Like, during the episode, I was pissed off. But then once I learned that, like, that fox is literally, like, protecting,
yeah,
like, or
the
him,
the grave
spirit.
swords and stuff.
Yeah,
That was
like,
cool.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's fine. And he did get a pretty fast sword anyway.
Exactly. Yep. That's why I'm like, okay, you know, it gives back the country's treasure, but then he also gets a crazy country treasure back. You know.
Yeah, I think that was perfect too with the Killer, with the like the fight between Killer and Zoro.
Mhm.
I think that's perfect to show like Zoro is built different, but his Killer also didn't have his weapons, so it didn't diminish like his credibility or anything as well. But it did show that Zoro was just built different. But what I'm saying, like,
Dude, and
they
Zoro
did it-
only had 2 blades, right? But then
Yeah,
as
he
soon as
only
he
had
got
2
the
blades,
third
and he
with the
stole-
sickle, oh
yeah, he stole it from his
gosh.
chest, bro.
Yeah, dude, he ripped
He
it
literally
off
was
of his
stabbed in his chest, and Killer was like, "What the fuck is wrong?"
See, that's
with
what
this guy?
makes me like go crazy too, because like later, Zoro fights freaking King, but then he's injured. He freaking got
Dude,
stabbed in the
dude, he-
chest.
Dude, he's still injured from that.
Yeah.
Yes. Injured,
Oh.
dude. He's been, dude, literally, like, ever since ever since he got that scar from, like, Mihawk, it's almost like he's a fucking zombie, dude.
Yeah, every time
Like-
he gets more scars, he's just getting more strong. Like
Yeah.
he had Mihawk slash, and then he got freaking brutalized by Kuma,
Yep.
and then now he's getting stabbed in
every
the chest.
every arc, it's almost like every arc he's just nerfed because they just know they don't want to glaze him so too hard.
even though
don't
they're
wanna make him-
glazing him more by nerfing him.
Yeah, dude, they treat him as like the main character when you have Luffy as the main
Mhm.
character, but Zoro's the main character. It's like,
Dude, I just
he's
love
like the second main character.
I love when animes animate swords, and freaking Zoro's the sword boy, so they gotta animate him.
And dude, man, they fucking cook.
Yep.
Zoro's just that guy, and
Yep.
like he is cool as fuck. So
Yep,
I don't
I love
care.
this fight, especially when Zoro steals the sickle, and like the
Dude.
way he finishes the fight, it's so.
Dude, that
beautifully
animation
animated.
went crazy too. All the square
Masterpiece.
shits going.
Yep. Oh yeah, when animes introduced those square thing, I'm like, yo,
That's
freaking
so
anime is
good.
crazy looking,
Mhm.
All right, Ryuuou saying Ryuuou,
That's when we got introduced to advanced armor hockey. That's dope.
And
I
then
love that. I love the
dumb old guy. I love dumb old guy Goro. I like his. I
Yeah.
like how they do this with characters where their old selves look so different than their like their new selves. Or,
yeah. Literally, you go from Big Mom to being a baddie to
yep,
fucking Big
to a
Mom.
big fat.
Big Mom. Yeah.
Oh.
And then you have Goro going from this like big, chunky, beefy sort like samurai to a shriveled up, tiny midget.
Yep.
Like that.
And then
that's
I
One
also,
Piece character design.
What was it? Episode 48 or something. This guy.
Yep.
Big Jack bartender to like old man.
To old shriveled up midget as well.
Yep. Oh my god.
They just lose bones as they age, I guess.
They just get so small,
Yeah, dude, they shrink.
Oh. But yeah, no, it was cool
yeah,
seeing Luffy get big, strong, and like being introduced to Ryuuou.
No, yep, no, it showed. Yep, it showed that Luffy's still learning, still growing. That's good.
Mm-hmm. And then learning about the Smileys was
no, that was nice.
It was also scary too. Like the whole villages, how they can't like cry, they have to laugh. Like it just. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, talking about the smile.
Mm-hmm.
No, that is like I'd say like when it comes to like villain like backstory shit, that is probably one of the most evil shit.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's like you don't even kill them or anything. They're literally just suffer. Like they can't show any other emotion except laughing.
Mm-hmm.
They see somebody die right in front of them. They see their like family member die in front of them. All they can do is laugh.
Yeah.
Like damn.
Yeah,
are you serious?
It's so
that's
crazy.
all they could do ever.
And it makes me like understand why it's called Smileys now. Like I was wondering like why do they call these like knockoff devil fruit smiles?
Yeah, and dude, it's so scary. Like dude, like you know how when you get tickled too much and it's just like the worst shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they live through now.
Exactly.
That's them now. That's so sad.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I liked seeing Zoro and Sanji jump in together. That was cool.
We always hear Zoro versus Sanji, but I believe in Zoro and Sanji.
Dude, when they team up, it's so crazy,
together, bro. Dude, if they ever whenever they work together, the other team's cooked.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It doesn't matter.
It's so funny when they are fighting. When they're fighting other people, they're fighting each other more than they're fighting the other people.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, if they work together, dude, they could I swear to God, I know this is over the top. I don't think it's actually true, but I feel like if Zoro and Sanji work together, dude, they'd clap up Big Mom or Kaido.
Dude, I think so too. Like just them.
That's overglazed. I'm just overglazed.
Them together, they're definitely emperor level if they could actually fight together.
Yeah, dude, they're wicked strong. And then with you have Zoro's just overwhelming. Like he has Conqueror's Haki, thing, Armament Haki, Future Sight, everything. You have Sanji with insane Observation Haki.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen him do Conqueror's Haki, so I'm guessing he probably won't unlock it. He might.
Exactly, but I don't even know how they unlock that because is it something that you could solely unlock? Okay, so it is like a birth thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to be birthed into, which sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a gift from the gods or the devil or whatever, I guess.
But it's neat that you don't realize that they have it until they do some Conqueror stuff. Like Luffy was doing Conqueror stuff in what was it, Impelled Down, but and stuff like that. But we didn't realize that it was Conqueror Haki.
It's literally people born with the mental of a king.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had Ace, never back down. He's always, and he literally was the son of the king of the pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Luffy, whose mental he's never going to stop until he is king of the pirates, no matter what. That king mentality, stuff like that. And you have Zoro. He's I'm going to be the best swordsman, the best of the best.
Dang, yeah. So it's basically,
so it's
basically
you gotta
big
be
kings.
you have to be I'm going to be the best type shit.
Got you.
And have that undying.
Dude,
I think Zoro and Sanji together they'd be a monster.
Mm-hmm. I know. I love it when they do work together, and there's multiple times where they clap up things together, and it just they cook.
I think the biggest combo wombo is when Sanji uses his kick to throw Zoro to attack. Those scenes look so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only that was only in 2 episodes or something.
Exactly. Yeah. I liked how they animated Luffy awakening his.
Oh, dude, so
his
clean. That picture is so clean. Dude.
Yeah, that is a cool picture. I love the way they animated it, though. It looked so wild. Old guy dying but not dying was funny, so that's why I put question marks.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not dead. I'm not,
I'm
I'm
not
not.
dead. I was just trying to, beef you up, make you stronger.
Yeah, literally showing like, I just had to make sure you actually awakened.
hmm Uh, Thoughts on
Kaido
Kaido
versus
versus
Big Mom,
Big Mom?
crazy.
They animated that really good. I love that. That was a good fight.
Yeah, when I saw them fighting, I'm like, wait, already? You're saying emperors?
Already?
Or is it-
Big Emperors? Yeah, and then I didn't
Yeah.
know that they were gonna team up, and legit that after that fight they just were like,
Dude.
that was a good fight,
Yeah, I never saw that coming when I was watching it. And then then she was like, all right, we're aligned.
Yep, we're in
Bro,
alliance now.
I thought it was just Kaido. Now 2 emperors?
hmm
Dude, that's wild. Yeah.
It sucks. I got spoiled that what's his face? Law and Kid were gonna team up to fight Big Mama,
Big Mom.
and then
you got that early.
when I saw Big Mama come to Wano, I'm like, oh no, they're gonna actually team up to
Yeah.
fight her. Oh man.
Yeah, that's when you're like, oh damn, okay,
Yeah,
so
but
I see where.
But I was like, well, I don't know how they're gonna fight her, but like, it makes sense.
Yeah, I still didn't know the full story, but yeah, that dude, I hate getting spoiled. Dude, I literally got spoiled about Gear 5. I didn't even think there was gonna be another group until like a while.
Yeah, so that's why I'm happy. Like, I'm the amount I've been spoiled is like so little. Like, I think I got spoiled on how big a punk looks, and then I also got spoiled on that. But like, I think I also like got spoiled on Ace's death, but I already knew that Ace was gonna die.
Yeah, that's like probably the biggest spoiler that everybody knows.
Yeah, and that's just because what's it called? Marineford was like big AMV, big AMV territory. After big Kaido fight, then we get introduced to Oden's swords, and it was cool seeing, like we were saying earlier, Zoro getting the Enma sword,
Oh, dude, yep.
And then
Such a good
Wolf
sword.
Boy, we get introduced to how he's the weapons collector boy.
Yeah, and I like how they really dragged onto the aura of a sword into like Emma. Like they actually gave it like it's like a genuine consequence.
Oh yeah,
trying to wield it.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Good.
Yeah,
Such a
it's so cool. Like seeing Zoro fight it, like how he's like trying to master the sword, but the sword's like, I'm just gonna shrink your arm that you've been like working out for ages.
Literally, I'm taking your hockey.
Exactly. Damn. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, seeing him just slice like part of like a mountain or like parts of like the world is just, Enma's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Is it, dude? Kappa is probably like one of my top samurais, dude.
Yeah, for the samurais, I really like Kappa. I love Kappa.
Yeah.
And then like
the way like when he holds his sword backwards, so dope.
It is. It's a tiny blade, but it just looks so cool,
Yeah, and like his attacks. I don't know what it is about Kappa. He just gives that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Big swords.
That's when we got the swords. And we know Momonosuke has the other sword.
Yep.
Was it the Heaven sword? And then Zoro has the Hell sword.
Yeah, he has the Hell sword. Okay. Wow.
The sword that could cut the heavens and the sword that could like cut the deepest of hells or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Freaking
Oden's cracked. Like, seeing him cook with Enma alone, like, then you're like, Oden, oh yeah, he also does this. Like,
the fact that Oden fought with Whitebeard and Roger, even though he got whooped, even like the fact that he fought against him and they both recognized him as strong, bro. That's a different level.
That's what I was
wondering. Dude, he's built different. He's genuinely built different.
Odin was during like the craze of the big pirates and stuff.
Dude,
and like he was able to fight the people of the golden era, It's like,
yeah, dude, that whole era had people who were built different.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just
then
you got the Seven Lords of Ozmans.
That was huge news. I was like, what the fuck?
Yep, seeing that. Then we got introduced to the Rock Pirates. But yeah, there was an island that got whooped, and then what was it?
Yeah, that battle. That's when they dispersed the Rock Pirates.
Yep, and what was it?
It was Garp and
Rogers, right?
Roger. Yeah, they whooped them.
But yeah, I think this is when we get Oden background somewhere around here too.
Yeah, I mean, like we could talk since the Oden background is so in depth.
Yep.
Like this overall, it's so good. That's definitely my favorite background ever.
Yep. And I mentioned that how like this is your favorite, and I completely understand because like there's so many like gaps in the story that were like filled in this arc, and then like just seeing like our boys actually fight, like this alone made the flashback like crazy,
So worth
seeing
it, dude.
Whitebeard and
Dude.
Rogers go at it, I'm like,
Oh no! When I heard like when I saw Roger on the island and and Whitebeard were pulling up on the island,
yeah,
I was like, nah, wait, are we gonna see this on
Yeah.
screen? And we saw a little bit of it, and I'm like, oh, so peak, dude.
it was
Because
amazing.
that's like, yeah, dude, you see the king of the pirates versus the strongest man in the world. Bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I thought it was cool too how like they were fighting for like 3 days and then legit after that they just like started
Yeah.
partying and stuff.
Yeah, literally after that, it's just like an average day.
Yep, they're
Literally, like they have half their men just cut in half. You know,
they're like,
you know,
oh, that was a good
sliced
bout,
off.
guys. Good job.
Yeah. So, how much food do you guys have? Can I have some food? Yeah,
Exactly.
sure. How much gold do you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take this gold if I could have your food. Like, bro, what the fuck you mean?
Yep.
You guys literally killed like 50 of these men, bro.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that
No, it's
alone
good.
was crazy.
The biggest reveal, I think that was cool that it showed that Odin was the one who written Goldie Rogers' message. That was cool.
Yep, that was big. Yep, I liked that because like I was, I've told you this before. Like I was always wondering like how the heck did Goldie Rogers leave that message for that Robin read if he doesn't read poneglyphs,
And then we understand that Odin,
Yep.
his whole lineage studies the dialect.
Exactly.
What?
Yep.
What?
Gosh.
And now his Momma. Oh wait, we'll talk about that.
Exactly. Yep. And then
learning
about
Laughtail.
Yeah, that's such a cool name, like Laughtail. Like I didn't realize, like, oh, that's why they call it Laughtail. It's because it's legit a laughing tale. This island,
Dude, if I don't laugh at the ending of One Piece, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, if I don't laugh at Laughtail, then I'll be upset.
Yeah. No, that's a big thing. They have to explain the Void Century.
Mm-hmm.
They have to explain the D.
Yep.
Like the D clan and also the D meeting. The ancient weapons also.
Yep.
And I mean, we have all the bits and pieces of it. And like in Egghead as well, they kind of explained a little bit of the Void Century. Like little sprinkles.
Exactly, yeah. But like we don't understand what was hidden in the Void Century.
What happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. All we have is like a theory. Same with the D clan. All we have is a theory. And the ancient weapon. The only ancient weapons we know of the only one that we know of is the mermaid.
Shirahoshi, I think was the name.
Yeah.
Something
and then the other one after this arc, I know this is like ahead, but the other one that we know is, or that I think was used was when anyways, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, the other one that was mentioned in this arc is the Wano's ancient weapon.
Yeah, from Wano.
Yeah. All right, then we got sad farewells and stuff, and Shanks, crying.
Dude, I
don't know why Shanks was crying. That's why I had to leave a note there. I'm like, what did he tell him?
I think it's because I think they all knew that he was just gonna die.
Oh yeah, that's probably it. But like, I'm guessing there was something else that he was
suffering
telling him that, he.
Oh yeah. No. Like, what did Roger tell Shanks?
Yeah.
I think, like in my head, I would think like Shank or Roger literally says, "It's not you. You're not Joy Boy." I'm like, damn.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and like, but you have to lead Joy Boy to the
Yeah,
or something.
because like he said, they learned that in the next 20 years or something.
Yeah.
we all know who shows up, but like.
Yeah, we all know
why they're saying.
We all know.
Yeah.
We all know who him is. We know what.
But like, he's saying that
Timothy Jr.
It's not a part of my time, but you will be a part of that time.
And I think just him emotionally getting touched, like him saying goodbye and telling Shanks that he should watch over the next gen.
Yeah, that's probably why. That's probably why. Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, I've always wanted to know what the hell the egg was. What the hell is that egg?
That's why I left this. Like, it could just be ship decor, like you were telling me before, but like. I just want to think that it's like a dragon egg or something,
No,
like...
I genuinely think it's an egg, but I think they just have it just carrying it with them. But I just want to know, like, what is that? Is it like those, like, is it those like dragons from that weird filler arc?
Yeah, that one.
Or is it like?
I'm trying to think. I think it was at 100. Yeah, right here. 55.
Yeah, or is it like a giant dinosaur or something?
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know. Like, I want to know what the hell that is. Because they literally, it's just right there in our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Oden getting pissed off. Yep,
he gets PO'd, then he 1v1s Oh yeah,
Dude.
rip the 1v1 just because
Dude.
of dumb old lady.
That's why Kaido's also kind of respectable because he is super strong, but he always gets like it's not even him cheating; it's literally people
Yeah, stepping in.
cheating the fight. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh my gosh, that's why that had to say like rip the 1v1 like.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's
Gosh.
no 1v1 there, bro. That
Oh my
bitch. She
gosh.
changed into Momonosuke. What
Though
a nerd.
that's such a terrible way of
What a
doing it too.
nerd.
I
Yeah,
just
dude.
hate her laugh at him too. Like,
Yeah, she
God
changed back and be like,
damn,
haha, what a loser.
haha,
Are
you
you
loser.
serious?
Oh my
You,
gosh.
wow.
But no, I
That
think
is so, dude. I
the
think Oden's
coolest
death is,
deaths. I think Oden has the coolest death. You know.
dude, he has the coolest quote, too. He literally says, Oden wouldn't be Oden if it wasn't boiled. Oh, man.
Yo, dude, this
That's so
Oden's freaking
tough.
wild.
Dude, he is that guy. No, he was built different, dude. And I'm just gonna say, if the 1v1 was fair, Kaido would get his booty cheeks.
Dude,
wet.
I think so too. Like he was the only one that could really combat Kaido, other than of course, like Rogers and Whitebeard and stuff. But like he was the only one on the island that could definitely take him on.
Yeah, and then you have like Zoro even hurting him.
Yeah, that was cool.
They had people. Yeah, but like I think the biggest thing was like Oden did one attack that hit, and it injured him so much. That was one attack,
and it's still on him. Like I was always wondering, like when you see Kaido the first time, like where'd that scar come from? Like if he's so cracked, why is he injured?
Yeah, and then you see Oden. Oh, that's why he was just attacked by a fucking monster.
Exactly. If Oden's just
dude, when Roger's first thing interaction with the Oden, he's like, I smell a beast.
Yeah, it was so funny how Roger,
I love Roger.
Like he learned that there's a samurai on the island and he just started running at him like, I want to go see this samurai.
Dude, I think it's so cool to see that Roger was literally but he was like Luffy but born too early. You know?
Yep.
I love Roger so much. Yep. And then also Oden, dude, he's built different. Absolute goat. Like definitely favorite backstory of all time.
Yep. Definitely I'm in the same boat. Like this out of all the backstories,
they showed so much.
I loved Oden's backstory.
Yeah.
Like that was the first backstory where I was like, okay, I don't really need to know this, but it's cool learning this. But this one was like, yo, I'm glad I'm watching this.
I'm happy. Like, dude, when I started his backstory, I was like, oh, okay, we got Oden's backstory to see who he was. And then I was invested fully after like a couple episodes because, like, dude, we're literally seeing Prime Whitebeard, Prime Roger, Prime. I'm like, God damn,
exactly.
They're spoiling us, dude.
Not only are you getting all that, but then you're also getting these fillers. You got like
dude. And you get some info in there. You get some little juicy little sprinkles, like, oh, that's how he wrote the little message in Skypedia.
Yeah, and then you're like,
and then we also have Roger doing the same pose as Luffy, saying, "We're going to the sky." Like, oh,
Oh my, yeah, seeing them go to Skypiea again was cool, and then like the way they fall down from Skypiea was funny seeing that again.
Yep. Yeah, we see the same exact fucking.
Yeah, the same journey the journey that Luffy's going on, they went on. Oh my gosh, it's like time's repeating itself.
Dude, and that octopus, he's immortal. I swear to God, he's got to be.
Oh, dude, I love that octopus. He's funny.
That dude. Luffy pulled him from his fucking crotch, bro.
That was so funny. It's like, how are we gonna get out of this? And then legit octopus out of nowhere.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
They're like, where'd the octopus go? They're like, oh, Luffy has it. Yeah, he's in my pants. He pulls it out of his pants. Like, bro, what? Why is he in your pants?
Why did they need him again? They used him for something. What was it?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I remember he had him for
it was some goofy, it was some dumb stuff. Dude, Kanjuro being revealed. I had a feeling it was Kanjuro.
See, that was that's why I want to ask you, like, who did you think the spy was? Because we knew there was a spy. I didn't think it was Kanjuro, but then like when they said it was, I'm like, okay, I see why it's Kanjuro.
At first, for me, when they started like talking about spies and stuff, like even like I think it was like the start of Wano or something when they talked about spies getting information. I didn't think it was any of like the samurai.
Oh.
But then like the closer they got to the end, that's when I started to put the points together. Where I was like, the only person who makes sense because like they were getting information straight from.
Yeah, from ages ago.
Yeah, from Dressrosa.
Yeah, from Dressrosa.
They were getting information from then. And I was like, the only person who could do that was Kanjuro. And Kinemon's felt so secure. Why the hell would Momonosuke do that.
Mhm.
And then we have Raizo, who was protected by all the minks. The minks were protecting Raizo from literally dying. You know,
Mhm.
it just felt like a what's his name again? The painting guy, Kanjuro.
Kanjuro.
Like it felt like he was just like a little. It felt like I don't know. He felt a little off. You know,
Mhm. Yeah,
like it felt like he
I
was just wasn't part of it.
I thought it was wild too. Like
But it blew my mind.
once he did get
Yeah.
revealed, and like he was starting to like paint really well and stuff. Like I'm like, yo, he was
Yeah.
keeping an act for a long time. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. That
Mhm.
pissed me off, bro.
Yeah.
I was so like that. It still shocked me, and then I was like, dude, it makes so much sense. But I'm like, dude,
Mhm.
damn, for real?
Yeah. For me, the person I thought was a spy was what's her face? I had it here, Kiku. Like she was doing
Yeah,
some
Kiku
sus
seemed
stuff with
sus.
like Zoro and stuff. Like she kept like eyeing him and
Yeah,
stuff, and
and
like
Zoro. Yeah, and
they did
Zoro
a bunch
also
of
felt a little.
pans. They did a bunch of
Yeah,
pans where like it made her look sus, but you know, it wasn't her. It was freaking
yeah,
Kanjuro.
and then also and then also like Zoro saying that he felt a little like
Exactly.
sus about her
That's
because
what
like she
made
was
me
so strong.
sus. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I was like, wait a minute. But then like like a little later, like around the time, I was like, yeah, if they're getting information all the way from Dressrosa, it can't be any of those.
Yeah. When you
It has
mentioned
to
that,
be
that
like
makes
one of
sense.
those
Because like there was a
three,
lot of
you
times
know?
where things got leaked, like where they were heading, and like them encountering like the Marines and stuff, or like
Yeah,
other
and
things
it makes
happening.
so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, no.
Jinbei officially joins.
Joins.
So hype.
The pause got me, you know, it got me good, you know.
Oh,
The
dude,
pause
that look
toast.
how good it looks, dude. Look how
It was so good.
dude, Queen's Party too.
I loved how Luffy was like, "Nah, I'm not drinking this," and then they're like, "Ah, shoot, now we can't drink this." And Jimbei puts his
Yeah,
down, then everybody else put theirs down.
yeah,
It
it's like,
looks
let's
so. Yeah.
go.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
with all a smile, like, dude, so
Yeah,
tough.
that
Well,
was
I
so
think he was
good.
like, let's celebrate this after we,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
After the battle,
And
yeah.
then Queen, dude, that whole cinematic of Queen's like song and everything,
Yeah,
so tough. It
92,
looked like a movie. It looked like a
982.
movie.
That was crazy. That's why I
Yeah,
put it down because like you had Queen's Party opening it, and then you had Luffy like
that
destroying
whole
this whole
animation
like
for that episode.
it was good, and then the way that
Yeah,
finishes off with this,
so clean.
oh my
Yep,
gosh, yeah. No,
yep.
I when I was
It looked
recording
like a
this,
movie.
I had to watch it again because it was so good.
Yeah, dude, it's good, dude. I rewatched like some episodes that are like just like fully. It looks so good. They
Yeah,
did such a good
like you're
job.
saying, this definitely could have been like movie quality. Like if they did a whole movie like this, mwah.
I'd be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Snatch.
Yep.
I thought it was so funny how Zoro's, you know, taught Momonosuke about it. But then he's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and then
I
there's
never
Shanks.
say it though.
Yeah, and then they all say it.
But then they say it because, you know, it's legit. They're battle spirits and stuff, you know.
Yeah, that's literally. Oh, when you're diving into a crashing waves,
Mm-hmm.
just shout.
Snatch! Yeah, that was hype. And then, you know, that's when we jump into the whole second half of Wano. And this is after 982, I'd say, or whenever they finally like reached and headed towards the island. It just cooked, you know. It just kept on cooking, you know.
Oh, dude, yeah, every episode was just good.
Yep. I liked seeing Big Boy Zoro get big mad at
Dude.
Dumb Music Boy. That was cool.
Yeah, they gotta give Zoro aura all the
Yep,
time.
yep,
you know?
yep.
Give Zoro aura.
And then the samurais going after Kaido. Like I was like, yo, they're doing really good. They're putting damage in, you know.
And it's like, nope.
But then later
Kaido.
they get absolutely cooked.
Yeah, dude. No, honestly, like it makes sense for Zoro's aura in Wano because this is his arc technically.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we haven't like for normal watchers of One Piece that Big Mom arc also with like that was so long.
Yeah, that's
You know?
what I was wondering too. Is like the group was split up for a long time. I never mentioned this, but like I think it was after Dressrosa. They didn't meet up with each other ever since Dressrosa until they met up at Wano, and like
and that's why like Wano was so good because everybody was there, everybody was contributing, and it felt like everybody was back.
Exactly. Yep. And that's why, I see what you're saying. Like Sanji got his moment. Now let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to Zoro. You know, let's bring it back to Zoro.
Yeah, they were getting that old vibe of like everybody gets to cook in moments, you know.
Yep.
But they had to overglaze Zoro
Yep.
because you know that's how you get. Dude, also the cat, who's who. He's just like an old. He had so much information leaked.
Yeah, exactly. That's I still don't quite understand. Like, I know that he was the guardian of the Gum Gum fruit before Ace stole it, but like,
He's probably
there's still some stuff about him that I don't like understand.
for me. I think who's who kind of reminds me of like a CP0 agent.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yep.
So I'm pretty sure he was like an agent like that.
Hmm.
I think he was.
Yep.
But
I think he was. Yeah.
yeah, and he had like super deep information, and also him protecting the Gum Gum fruit itself.
Yep.
He would have like some leaked information about it,
Hmm.
and him talking about it, teasing it, was perfect.
Exactly.
And the fact
yeah.
that he kind of looks like a CP0 agent.
Yep,
or
exactly.
CP9.
The fact that he's an animal and most of the CP0 transformations are animals.
Or Zoan animals.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, and also the backstory with Ace and Yamato is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one too.
Yep, that's a good one.
Definitely doesn't pass Oden, not even close.
Of course not. And
like,
it was really short. It was like an episode or two, but like it was still a good. I still had to mention it because it was cool. Like that's how we know how Yamato knows Luffy and like how she knows Ace too. So like that's why I really loved Yamato because she's legit just an Oden fangirl fanboy, and also a freaking Ace fanboy.
I think the biggest thing about Ace that I love is like. Literally, he was like walking around as an absolute beast. He was like conquering the seas,
Mm-hmm.
He went to Wano. He was looking to he was trying to clap Kaido's cheeks. I mean, like at the time, I don't know how that would go down. I feel like Kaido would whoop him, but I wouldn't know because I didn't know like at the time about the stuff. But he was literally clapping cheeks like around the seas. He became the second commander.
He was the second. He was I don't know if he was the right hand man, but he was the second seat. So like he would hold. He held the second fleet.
Yeah,
I think.
And then
that one Fire Phoenix boy was right hand, was first mate.
But, oh yeah, first commander.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he was first commander.
But then he was second fleet. So
yeah,
that's still crazy,
Yeah, no. Him, he literally was like just starting out, and then also like the whole time while he's conquering the sea, everybody he talked to, he'd glaze Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, my brother's gonna come here, and he's gonna be the strongest."
Yep, he's up and coming pirate boy.
Yeah. And then when they were talking about Luffy's past, saying like, about what was it? Like, we laughed at his dream, but we wouldn't let anybody else laugh at it because we know he'd do it.
Oh yeah, yep. Like him and Sabo, how they were like, yeah, that was.
And that was just like Roger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that was good. It hit me because like. Not only do they mention it there, but then they mentioned it later when Luffy talks about his dream and stuff. So,
dude, it's so nice. And then Luffy comes around. Yamato's like, oh, "This is who the guy." And now it makes sense. Guy. This is the guy Ace has been glazing.
Yeah, no, I love Yamato. She's such a dumb character, but she's so
such
correct.
A good character. I feel like she was like I feel like Oda wanted her to go on the crew, but then eventually was like,
Mm-hmm. Well, I think where she's at is perfect. Like, even though she isn't joining the crew, I think she'll just like follow the same footsteps as Oden. Like, she won't be like officially part of the crew, but she'll like travel with them.
Yeah, and she already helped the crew out, and then she's also just protecting Wano, which is what Oden wanted.
Yep, exactly. We need.
But Oden wanted to open up the borders of Wano, but it's not time yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's why Momonosuke was also like, we can't open it yet.
We can't open it
because he knows too.
Yep.
He knows too.
Yep, and then Yamato is perfect because like when they fought, this dude,
the
green boy, like they got freaking wrecked, So dude, they definitely need somebody to stay. And
dude, and the fact Yamato, that Momonosuke finally did his first blast breath, dude, he has the genes of Oden and a devil fruit of Kaido.
Oh, and it ties back all the way to freaking what's that island called? Not Vegapunks, but it was
literally the first island of the New World.
Yeah,
or the second island. Yeah, dude, it leads all the way back there, and like.
But yeah, no, it leads all the way back there when Momonosuke eats a dumb devil fruit. But that fruit was actually an experimental for Kaido's fruit,
Yeah, dude,
so
Jack.
Oh my.
Jack, it's kind of funny. Mm-hmm. Like, so you know how like they're saying, like Vegapunk was saying that's a failure.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that scene in Egghead, where he was talking about it, and Luffy's like, "Yeah, Momonosuke ate that one. It was really good. He was able to do everything. Why was it a failure?" Then Vegapunk was like, "What color was he? Huh? What color was he?"
Oh yeah, what color was he? He was
Yeah,
pink.
literally the only failure was pink, and then
It was-
Vegapunk smacks his
it
head down.
was-
He's like,
it
"No!"
was the color that was wrong, but it's like, who cares? Everything else is right. Like,
Yeah, dude, he's a
freaking.
mega genius. He's
Oh
super
my
perfectionist.
gosh,
Dude, that was so funny.
that
Dude.
was so funny. That was good.
Pink.
It's
No!
I love Vegapunk.
Dude, also,
Uh,
I think like when you said wicked animations, I think 10-15 is probably like
It is.
one of the peak animations.
Dude, it was so wild
It's-
seeing Luffy walk up to them and then also just
Dude, they have
walking
the-
past them. Like,
Dude,
oh
get the
my
chat.
gosh, that's a mega Luffy aura. Like,
Yeah,
I
dude,
liked,
you literally have two.
I
Yeah,
loved Bellamy versus Luffy aura, but like this is a different
this
type
is
of aura. You
different.
know?
Yeah, no, you literally have two emperors with the sea
Yep.
looking down on you.
Yep.
You know,
Talking
Of course
about
the
you,
other guy.
trash talking
Yeah,
you.
they're trash talking to you, and they're saying like, "Oh, what are we gonna say? You're gonna be king
You
of the
wanna say
pirates?
that
Tell us,
again?
kid."
Yeah.
And then Luffy Aura walks past them, ignoring them.
Ignoring. They
They're
didn't
like,
even
"Huh?
answer them. You know.
Hey, talk to me, little Brad," type shit.
Yeah.
Bro, he has aura, bro. Luffy's built different.
And he just like walks
that
up
guy.
to the samurais and like he gets PO'd. You know. That's.
Yep, he gets
oh
pissed
my
off because
gosh.
they're literally close to death.
Yep.
And then Kaido, he literally punches Kaido straight to the ground,
Mhm.
and then screams, "I'm gonna be king of the pirate!" after knocking Kaido
Oh
to his
my
ass.
gosh.
Oh,
That's
so good, dude.
it was, and the way they animated everything was wild too. Like not only
No,
did he have
dude, that-
crazy aura, but then they backed it up with crazy animations.
Yeah, you know, Jack. When I was watching this week to week, it felt like a drug. Honestly,
Yeah.
watching this episode, dude,
Dude,
it was
freaking
wicked.
Wano is cracked. Like every now and
Yeah.
again, they just have crazy animations like this, and it's like, well, I
The
can
meme-
see like I can't imagine like watching it week to week, and then you see this like almost every like week. Like that's wild.
Yeah, dude. No, it's literally weekly. And like the meme from like me before like the memes came out about it, like
Mhm.
in my head I was like, dude, they literally have like a certain budget, like a normal budget for like an anime, like for most of the episode.
Mhm.
Then out of nowhere they switch to 4K animation, 60 FPS, fucking,
Yep.
you know, like they go like movie style
Yep,
animation.
movie status.
That's just One Piece episodes now, dude. It's so good.
Yep.
And like with Egghead now, they've been cooking a lot more recently.
Yeah, I know.
It
I
looks-
when I was watching Egghead, it seemed like every time there was like combat going on or something big going on, the animation like
They changed
steps
it for-
up. You know,
Yeah, they literally change resolutions. They
Mhm.
change.
it's so good. But yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Dude, yeah, Frankie, he fucking cooked that
Yep,
Triceratops.
that was
bro.
cool seeing him fight him. I also love seeing Dumb Robot Boy, and
Dude,
I
I
think
love that.
Frankie. I don't know. I really like Frankie. He's just a dumb old goofball, and
Dude, yeah, no, I think Frankie's character in general is so cool,
Mhm.
and also like his character is so important for like the story or for like the ship.
Yep.
And then, besides his character design, I feel like his original character design, I miss that one. 'Cause, I miss old, but Frankie's like the new Vegapunk.
exactly. Yep, he's the up and coming Vegapunk. But
Or like it just that's like
I also like his what's it called? His bounties. Like none of his bounties are like him.
yeah, it's just
It's
cyber.
First it's
literally-
the cyborg, and then now his new one's the ship. You know.
yeah,
It's
literally.
it's 1,000 Sunny.
Yeah,
That's so
and he's
funny.
like, bro,
where am I?
yeah,
Oh,
chopper
jeez.
cooked.
Yeah,
Yep,
that
chopper
was cool.
cooked.
Like I was so scared for everybody, but then he just made a freaking chopper
Dude,
bomb.
I believed in Chopper the whole time.
I did too, but it was just like so scary because like everybody was changing.
It
You know.
was. Yeah, dude. No, dude. I was also like scared when they were gonna kill. I thought they were gonna kill off that old dude with the blue hair.
Mhm.
Thought he was gonna get cooked. And then Oden coming back. Krista was like, shell shocked when she was watching that.
I
part.
know. Yeah, I was like, Oden. Why is Oden here? He
Yeah.
lived somehow, but then
Dude. And like in the back, like while I was like watching this, I was like, Oden. This makes. And then I was thinking, oh, that painter guy. Must
yeah,
still be
exactly.
alive. He's fucked
that's
up in the head.
that's so crushing. You know, like you basically tried to bring back somebody that was dead, raising their hopes, but then you made him like stab one of your own like backs. Like
Yeah,
that's
dude,
freaking
literally.
wild.
Literally, yeah, dude. He killed the pink hair dude with.
Hmm.
Wow. That is so wicked. That is
The lowest of the lows. Like freaking
Yep.
Kanjuro. After that, I was like, yo, this guy's gotta die. Like I freaking hate Kanjuro.
yeah, dude. No, he's scum, bro. Also, that episode, like those episodes, those episodes.
More
next
wicked
year, they
animations, you know.
that's when, like, around this time, this is when they started doing like insane impact frames. Dude. Their
Mm-hmm.
impact frames go
I love
nuts.
their impact veins.
Yep, filler episodes.
Movie teaser.
Yep.
I loved
That
the Sanji and Zoro.
dude, oh, I love it so much, dude. That was such a good episode.
I like how Chopper was like
Literally
busy,
Zoro.
so he had to
Yeah,
like
Zoro's
patch him up. He just
Zoro's still chatting shit, even though he's fucking like that.
It was so
And
stupid.
Sanji's like, bro, shut the fuck up. All right.
That was so
No,
stupid.
it's so good. And then, dude, you have the clashes still on the rooftop, dude.
Mhm.
They've been cooking.
Yep.
Kiku
Getting wrecked. I don't think she dies, right? She didn't die.
She doesn't die, but her arm got
she lost
cooked.
her arm. She got cooked. Kaido versus Yamato was cool.
That was dope.
I love their
dude.
fight.
They had a crazy impact frame during that too. It was like Yamato when she was young, like turning her head up.
I have that. This is like this is when they started fighting. That one is like at the end of their fight.
Okay. Then you have Chopper saying like the new effects of the Rumble Ball.
Yeah,
Rumble Ball.
You know what's his face? What was it? Was it Gas Boy? Yeah, Gas Boy. Like him saying like it doesn't matter like the side effects of the ability as long as you're able to like cook.
Yeah, no, he was literally saying to Chopper like, "Oh, what? So you're not a real pirate, huh? Oh, you're scared about yourself and not your friends, huh?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was like, "Damn, bro."
You didn't have to hit him like that, but you're right.
Yeah, like that's kind of fucked up still, but you're right, but it's still fucked. I was like,
yeah, I definitely like this side effect. It's so goofy, he just shrivels up.
This is where we get more gum lore.
Yep, gum.
Dude,
that's when I learned like the importance of this dude.
Dude, but yeah, we'll get to that when I get to that. Keep cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Jinbei cooks, of course.
Yep, that's when he fights his boy.
He's the only Straw Hat that we ever seen use full armament hockey, like full body armament hockey.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
Yeah, dude, Jinbei's cool.
His fingers went like, ugh.
Ew,
Disgusting. Robin
cooking.
Demon
yep,
Robin.
Yep.
Dude, I love, or in my opinion, I think when Robin, like, you know how like it's kind of like how Chopper said, like Priest time skip.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, "I'll become a monster for Luffy." Like everybody was calling him a monster, but I'll become a monster for.
Yeah, I thought that was cool when he came back and he's like, "Yo, I don't care about my forms anymore because I got you guys."
And then it's almost like Robin doing this too. She was like, "Everybody called me a demon child or demon."
Exactly. So I'm gonna become what everybody thinks,
Yeah.
And that was cool that she
Luffy,
transformed herself into that,
Dude, and her transformation looked so cool.
She freaking cooked that spider lady too.
Dude, and the fact, like, you know how the spider lady had that big ego, being like torturing people, like, oh, but then she was getting tortured. Oh,
yeah,
that's so
payback.
How do you like it?
Reap what you sow, Up
there,
there they are again. There they are again.
What we need. No Sanji Zoro hate. It's gotta be Sanji Zoro.
Teaming up. Oh, here's the frame you're talking about.
Yeah, dude. No, that impact frame goes so hard.
Dude, I screenshotted and then it's saved right there. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
That's one image that they drew.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah, I know. I love impact frames. Like, I don't know what they do, but they just cook,
Yeah, dude. No, they go insane.
And then of course.
And you have the blood awakening.
Of course.
Yep, like you were talking about, dude.
I had to screenshot it right when he breaks the blade with his neck,
No, that's literally the perfect moment too, because that's when it's like, huh?
Yeah, because not only did he snap his bones back in place, but then he just stood there and he took a blade to the neck.
Yeah, it's like it didn't even hurt him, and then even him was like, bro, what the fuck is happening?
Mm-hmm.
And how broken Sanji already was now that his shit's awakened.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Now he could just take hits. He could dish hits and take hits. Now it's like
he literally has the best durability besides Luffy in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think he probably has more durability because Luffy kind of dies out after a fight.
Yeah, I'm curious like how far that ability goes. Like now that he doesn't have the suit because he destroys it, but like how far?
I think now.
When do you like get injured? Like at what point?
No, that's the thing that I'm saying. I think literally he's just unbreakable.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he probably could get broken,
mm-hmm.
but like it's just like he's almost. I don't know. It's like an unbreakable wall. It's like a diamond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering, like, what is the weakness to it? Because, like, it just seems like they're cracked.
Yeah, it seems too OP.
But it does make sense. Like, their bones can still break and stuff. It's just that's probably when they're weak, is, like, when you just wreck their bones and stuff.
Yeah.
You just got to smack them before they heal back up.
Mhm.
More crazy animations.
Yep. Looks so,
Big
dude.
Bad
That whole
Mama.
episode, like the Big Mom episodes,
Hmm.
they did so good with the colors.
Yep.
I think that color scheme was so cool.
I had to take a screenshot of this because this is when Big Mama came out of the ocean, and then
Yeah,
she
she
stood up
came back.
against Law and used his kid. So
Yeah, and like I was saying too, like that, like the red and green dude, and like they
Mhm.
had that throughout like the whole episode almost. It's so.
Yep. The
And you have
visuals are so good.
Sanji. Yep, Sanji finally mentally preparing.
Yep. Sanji
So
was
dope.
like, "Yep, no more,
Fuck it.
none of this stuff." And then
Yep.
at some point, Sanji calls Zoro here, and it just
Yeah. No, I love
that whole
that call.
scene
He's
is
like,
like I was like so sad, but like later on, now looking back at it, it's so funny, you know.
dude, like yeah, no. When I was watching that, dude, that was like, no,
Yeah,
stop,
no,
stop,
no,
stop,
please,
stop. Don't say that.
please
Don't
don't
even
say
bring
that,
it up.
Sanji.
Yeah, if
Oh,
I lose my mind, Zoro, can you please
you
kill me?
me. And then,
Oh,
oh
don't
my
say that.
gosh. Oh,
You're not gonna lose your mind. And
yeah.
then like they showed him like it was like he was going crazy, like that he hit a lady. But
Yeah,
he didn't hit that.
but he didn't, and that blew
Yeah.
my mind too. I'm like, did
That
Sanji
hurt my
actually?
soul, dude.
Did Sanji actually
Yeah.
hit her?
If
But
she
no.
actually hit that person, I would fucking I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah, I know. I'd be
Like,
so sad, you know.
that's not Sanji.
And then later you find out it's Queen. I'm like, oh, thank goodness, you know.
Yeah, I know. Oh god, okay. We're good.
Oh
The
my
Zoro's
gosh.
past.
Yep.
We hear a little bit of, and kind of like what I was talking about,
Yep. And then that's when
but not really too
that's when his Conqueror hockey's revealed too, I think.
fully unlocked. Yep.
Mhm. And then that's when
And
they
then,
start
like-
cooking. Sanji versus
Yep.
Queen.
Yep.
Absolute masterpiece battle. But then you
Dude,
got
no,
the
that
next
animation's so
one.
good.
Oh my gosh.
No, that whole episode where that fight is so
Yep.
good. That ending is.
Yep.
And dude, Jack, one thing to notice, you
Mhm.
know how like when they have their flames up,
Yeah.
they can't get like they pretty much are almost indestructible.
Yep, I remember you saying this.
I think, yeah. Well, I think when he was getting sliced during that thing, I think his flame was still up.
Yep.
His wing got cut off.
And I watched it back, and it is still up too.
It is?
So he cooks, you know.
Dude,
cooks
it's
some.
like it's almost like the scene when he was like, "Can I cut steel?"
Mhm.
He cuts steel.
Exactly, did it again, but more crazy. Yep. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that one too. That was a hype moment because like
Yeah,
legit
so it's all-
Steel
yeah,
Boy was like,
It's
yeah,
almost like-
nothing can cut me. Zoro shows up.
I know it's just like a minor detail, which is probably not actually what happened, but like
Mhm.
I think in my opinion, I think Zoro could actually cut up these guys now.
Mhm.
Keep damage.
Yeah, dude.
You cut anything.
This is I think hands down this is probably like the best animation they've done.
Oh,
Like, the
100%.
whole fight. 'Cause,
Dude,
like,
they went insane.
I love the fire dragons that King makes, you know, and then Zoro slicing
they-
through those fire
Dude,
dragons.
They had a whole sky view, like side view,
Hmm.
optical shot of like dragons peering in.
And then you had like smear frames
yeah.
like this, and it's like,
Yeah. You had him going so fast, he started like blurring out,
mhm.
and then he started cutting through flames. He started popping up through those
Exactly.
flames he was cutting. And then, dude, it was so good.
It is. That's definitely peak Zoro for me. Like
Oh yeah,
out of all Zoro moments, that's his best like animated scene.
dude. And before you got the knowledge of the gum gum fruit,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
yep,
And you're like,
dude. And
so then we're like, huh? What's the importance of the gum
why
gum
is it
fruit?
so important?
Why
did
are they
he-
talking about it? Why
why is that guy saying like?
Yeah, why was it important that Shanks stole it? And I like my question was like, why did Shanks steal it? Like, does he know
Yeah,
the
why?
importance of it?
Yeah, and I feel like that's why I was saying like with Roger's talk, that might be
Mhm.
a
And
little
then
link.
it also ties into when what's his face? When Shanks was talking to Whitebeard and he was saying how he put his arm into the future of the next generation.
Yeah,
which,
dude,
you
he
know-
literally set it off to Luffy.
Mhm. Oh my
So
gosh.
it makes sense.
It's all connecting, you know.
Dude, the Big Mom ending, bro. That
Mhm.
when
The
that
laser
spirit
beam.
popped up. Yep. Dude, when they did that huge play, dude, when Law did that sword all the way to the core of the earth or something,
He pulled Godzilla, you know, he blasted through the center of the
What?
earth. You know?
like I did like I know Law's powers were like wild. But when
Yep.
he did that, I was like, huh?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Law's wild. Like every
Yeah.
time Law's on the screen, I'm like, yo, his freaking power is
They
wild.
come up with something new that just blows your mind.
Mhm.
And then you have a hole going straight to the core of the earth, and then you have Kid popping up with a freaking rocket launcher, laser gun, beam cannon from Halo Reach.
Yep.
Just going like, all right, you're cooked, and then blasting her.
Yep.
Golly,
Yep.
it's so good.
I love that battle, and the way it ends was good. Like, they had to team up together. Like, Law made the hole to the sun, the earth, but then Eustace, had to finish her off to like send her to the pits. It was
with the
great.
laser cannon.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
And then another disrespectful 1v1.
That's what I was saying. That's why I was like, damn. And then you literally see in Kaido's face in that fight.
I
like,
know.
Right when he,
his despair. Oh my gosh. And
dude, Zunesha comes back. During those episodes, we heard Zunesha walking towards them. The Marines were, yeah. And then he was talking to Momonosuke.
Yeah. Oh, and then dude, there was stuff that it was saying that I was like, Drums of Liberation. 800 years. Joy Boy.
What the dude? They've been teasing Joy Boy, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And then boom.
And then we got.
And then he's revived. And I loved it so much how they made it so, like the elders were talking about the fruit as Luffy was awakening. It was beautiful how they made the revival and stuff. Like
they cooked with the 171 and 170.
Yep.
I know. Like the presentation wasn't like overall wasn't as good, but I feel like how they wrote it into the story or how Oda wrote it in, like you could see it as like an asshole, what people would say, But I feel like it fits so good that it makes sense, because you had like how would Shanks have this gum fruit, Why would he have this, and why would he be saving it?
Yeah.
And then it just ties it all together.
Exactly. It's so cool because like now like legit the first couple episodes of Luffy eating this gum fruit has led all the way to these thousands of episodes,
Yeah.
And it's so it's so cool.
Yeah, and then research, like people say there's no such thing as a gum fruit. It's only like a new thing. And then realize this fruit is just Joy Boy.
It's
a sun god
different.
I gotta be careful of saying. It's
okay. Name. It was. They revealed it then. It was Nika.
Yeah.
The sun god.
Yeah, but it's so good.
Big fist to finish the fight. And then Kaido saying, what was your thoughts when Kaido was saying, like, hockey's better than Del Fruits? And then also, when Kaido was like, yo, I'm not gonna be... He was talking to, like, King. And, like, how, like, the only person that'll beat me is Joy Boy. Or something like that.
When I heard that, I was like, dude, that's perfect, like, story symbolism. Or, like, story setting. That makes, like, this whole Impact scene, like, so much better. And also, when he said hockey over Devil Fruit, I 100% agree with that. You have Garp doing stuff like that.
I know. When you see Garp, I'm like, oh no.
He was just him. And that's why I feel like Roger was also feared, because I don't think Roger had it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yep, plus we don't know, yep.
But, like, I feel like it makes sense, because hockey negates, like, if you, like, you saw with Law in later chapters, like, he negates hockey effects. If you master hockey, I feel like Devil Fruit's double here. And that makes sense. But Luffy is so free. He uses his hockey so free. And also, I feel like Kaido, he had all the chance in the world to dodge the fist. But he was like, nah.
And I thought it was cool, too, that, like, Kaido never had, like, a moment in the show where he went into, like, Super Saiyan, like, flame state.
Dude.
But then Luffy...
You've never seen him go all out like this.
But then, boom, he takes this punch while also going Super Saiyan. And then you get the flashback at the same time. Like, oh my gosh. It was good.
So tough. Dude, and then that, like, the hole that Law made earlier, Luffy's like, nah, this, I'm going to make a better.
I'm punching my own hole.
And then he punches Kaido straight through the hole. He makes a hole straight to the core of the earth.
Yep, right by Big Mama.
The reveals of the bounties went crazy. I was happy that they had, like, everybody at 3 billion. Yep. Make it even. Yep. But I was so happy that they were like, it makes sense that like Luffy was already like a 5th emperor, quote unquote. So he was the emperor.
Yeah, so then he took over the seat of the emperor. So we had Buggy, Shanks, Blackbeard, and our boy,
Dude, speaking of like One Piece Oda lores, like it's so funny that like he says that there's just like a dude who travels at like faster than the speed of light, taking pictures of people.
Yeah.
So that's how we get those photos.
I love the bird dude.
The dumb lore.
I love the bird guy because like it makes sense like why those birds are all over the place. It's because he legit flying all over the place.
Yeah, dude. There's literally I believe this, but I think like there's a theory where like that bird was a part of Goldie Roger's crew.
Ah.
And if you see like in I think it was the flashbacks of Oden, there's a guy who kind of like has like the same fit bird, like similar fits, but like I'm guessing he probably got that bird fruit and just stays in that zone.
Oh, interesting. So we could have lore with that guy in the
Yeah.
future, because like
Dude, and
I'm wondering why he like later, like we find out that he somehow got a hold of Vivi when they were trying to get at Vivi. So like now he's keeping Vivi safe, and that weird guy that was on
yeah, bro.
that was on, what was his name?
The ship.
Chopper's Island. The one that eats everything. Whirlpool.
Oh, Wampool.
Wampool. Yeah, so like that Bird Boy's gonna have some kind of bigger role in the future.
Yeah,
And
dude. I think he's literally like the core of the show. He does all the propaganda, all the news.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. Like they shouldn't be learning about this new form of Luffy. But boom, he reveals.
Yeah, but that guy's like, and the world government's like, no, you can't be posting. He's like, shut the
shoot! I can do what I want, and they're like, we gotta shut this guy. We gotta shut this guy
news.
down.
Everybody's getting the news, and he posts everything. I respect him so much.
That's why I love that bird, dude. He's so good. Like he's wacky, but like I love him.
Dude, see now this is just him flexing.
The pure Shanks aura.
The Conqueror Riz. He's flexing his Conqueror.
The Conqueror Riz.
He literally has Wi-Fi Riz.
Dude, he does have Wi-Fi Riz.
Dude, he doesn't even have to be near the person. He just sends a Wi-Fi signal.
Dude, he was legit down the hill, miles away, and he somehow got all the way up to freaking Tree Boy.
Yeah, like, and the way that it affected that guy, bro, what? Dude, he has like advanced Conqueror's hockey.
Dude,
insane.
Oh my gosh! And then I loved Luffy like kind of like tearing up there, and he was like, "Yo, I just saw a familiar face."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, that was really sweet. The whole ending, they did a good job with it.
Yep, I love
new bounties. Yep.
I love the way they were showing all the bounties, and like Zoro and Sanji was getting so upset because Jimbei and Zoro got above him.
Yeah, no, I was literally about to say that. I was gonna say. Like I kind of feel a little, not mad, but sad for Sanji because like he's always been third place.
Yep.
But now he's fourth. Like, bro, come on. Like Jimbei just joined the crew, bro. Come on, bro.
It's okay. He was a warlord, so it makes sense. It makes sense.
Dude, but Jimbei only took out like what a washed up CP0 agent, and then you have Sanji taking out like literally Queen.
Yep.
Come on, bro. He deserves it.
Yeah,
but no, like that. It makes sense. So it's funny. I like it. Then Blackbeard, he's whipping up the island.
We finally see Blackbeard finally coming back into play. He's whipping people. Yep. He whips. He whips. What's her face? Bo Hancock here, but then what was it? Riley shows up, and then they capture Kobe. And then that leads to its own thing that we will talk about.
Yeah, the whole thing we'll be talking about.
Yep.
Then Luffy's dream. I really want to hear his dream.
I know, me too.
I feel like I have like an idea, but like
I know, me too. Like I feel like it's something about like just world peace and stuff, or like just everybody being able to eat or something.
Something simple. Yeah, but I don't know. Also, this animation style changed, and then they did all of this, bro, in that episode.
Yep. I told you this before. Like I was scared. Like I didn't know what's gonna grasp me from here on out because Wano was so crazy. But then they dropped this bomb, and then they show like what was it? They show like more lore on the Void Century and stuff, and it's just like, well, I'm back. You know.
Yeah.
I'm hooked.
They literally we went from beating an emperor, killing two emperors, kind of, and then they're like, how are we gonna top this? Oh, instantly deletes an island.
Delete an island, say it doesn't exist. Oh, okay.
Like, oh, that never existed. What are you talking about? That island? That never existed.
Yeah, this is so funny. That one guy's power to like change people's genders.
That thirst trapped a lot of One Piece fans.
Exactly, like, oh no.
Yes, finally!
Oh, no. Girl.
Yes.
It was cool, like,
also figuring out that Bonnie's dad is Kuma. That was insane.
It's really sad too, like how he's like
a robot.
He's just a robot boy. But I'm wondering like what's happening to Kuma, you know? Because like
you gotta catch up.
Okay. Because like Kuma is like he's trying to fight his way back. It was cool seeing this guy come back. You know, I was really happy seeing him come back.
I'm so happy he lived. Yeah.
I was surprised he lived, but I'm also not surprised because you know freaking I think Aokoji's like he's kind of conflicted. Like I feel like he could be a good guy, but he's just on the fence.
Then you have the 900-year-old robot.
This I want to learn more about. Like, why was this robot set upon the the freaking government island or whatever, you know.
I have kind of a theory, but I don't want to really talk about it
Okay,
because
okay. Then
Gear 5 Devil Fruit
then we
theory.
got Gear 5.
Dude, it was so cool to finally see the crew actually see Luffy like in his form.
Exactly,
That
yeah,
was
because
so-
like it didn't click, but like nobody really saw him fight Kaido.
Yeah.
Other
Only
than-
Nami,
Other than
Chopper, somebody else.
yeah, well they saw the form, but like
barely saw
they
it.
didn't really. They just saw him like burst through the walls and like
Yeah,
stuff.
with his head as a
Mhm.
giant.
Yep.
And they're like, what?
Yep, and
And their eyes popped out their head.
yoinking Kaido too is really funny.
Yep. But yeah, no. And then when Vegapunk was talking about the Devil Fruit theory, where like
Mhm.
everybody's what's it called? Everybody's not passions, wants, like their wants
Mhm.
comes to life, like through
Yep, through the devil fruits.
that's such a good theory, and I feel like people had that theory.
Mhm.
Wow,
And I kind of had a similar theory where it's like things in the world like leads to these fruits.
their desires,
Mhm.
their desires lead to, you know, accumulating.
All right, and then we're
Alright.
we're basically caught up from here.
Yep, we got Luffy versus Law, literally Lucy having flashbacks.
Yep, yeah, that was so funny.
He literally had a
Lucci.
flashback. He's like, "Oh god."
Yeah, it was so cool seeing that again. I'm
It's
like,
PTSD, bro.
yep. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna get cooked again.
Yep. He's like, "Oh no."
And then of course getting the boys back. Oh
Dude,
my gosh,
that whole scene.
I didn't know that they were
uh,
gonna be, back on Elbaf so fast. I thought that we were gonna get some kind of arc of those big giants like collecting them and stuff.
they
but
built
no.
different.
But no, they're back. They're back.
They're
And then
built different.
like I was talking
That's
about.
what I'm saying. Like they're those guys. They're like, I swear they're Yonko.
Mhm. And then what's his face? Like the
Yep.
bird boy taking saving VB and stuff. That's what I was talking about. Like I was
And we
curious,
have
like
the Seraphims themselves. Insane.
being based
That's
off of the warlords and stuff.
Yeah. That was a whole wild situation.
I'm wondering if like somehow this Seraphim is gonna have like the same feelings for Luffy as as Bo Hancock, you know.
Huh?
You know,
Interactions.
yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
No, I think it's funny. I think it's funny how like anytime like even when it comes to like Luffy, I think like that's the reason why they run for because of
Mhm.
just has that risk towards Moa, bro.
But yeah, no, seeing the Elbaf Boiis come back was cool.
Yeah, dude, they're redheads.
And then now
bro.
we know for sure that the fourth poneglyph is on Elbaf.
It has to be. Yep.
Mhm. And then
So-
Shanks is there, so it's like, well, we know we're probably gonna deal with Shanks then.
Chris is awake, so I don't want to like talk about it. But like that scene right there,
Mm-hmm.
damn.
Yep, I know. I didn't see that coming because like she got frozen early, but then she came back
Dude.
and I'm like, oh, she ordered them to unfreeze her or something, and I was like, okay,
Also, Shaka, just in general, that's my favorite one.
this one.
I know.
Oh, this
Shaka.
guy, yeah, Shaka's the coolest one. I like his drip, and he's so chill, you know.
Dude, he was the most level-headed.
Mm-hmm.
And Shanks,
This is what we were
Yep.
talking about.
that was rough.
That was absolutely amazing. Seeing Shanks cook, and then also
Dude,
Elbaf and the what is it? The freaking Elbaf
Kid.
Boiis finishing him off.
Dude, I feel like literally Kid already Kid already got his arm chopped off, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second time, Shanks was like, and then he saw that future sight. He was like, "All right, bro, you're done.
Yeah,
You're
I know.
done.
It's
I gave you a chance."
It's sad, but like
You know?
he deserved it because like just
Yeah.
looking at that future sight, man,
Dude,
he wrecked. He
that's
killed
so
a
many
lot of
lives.
people, you know.
That is an insane dude in one shot,
Mhm.
and that's probably like ships behind them as well. I mean, you saw how many ships Shanks was.
Exactly, yeah. He blasted like 5
Through all
ships,
of
and
them.
like each ship could have been like
Yeah, but
hundreds of people, you know.
yeah, and then also we don't know like it only showed those 5 ships. But,
Oh
like, I
yeah,
feel
you're
like that
right
laser
because the
probably
beam was so
traveled
long. Yeah,
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
so
yeah.
like, dude, yeah, and then Garp, dude, I'm so happy that we got some Garp.
Dude,
Oh yes.
I think I said it. It's a Garp Gap, you know.
Garp
There's a Garp Gap.
dude. Garp is just. Dude, I feel like the strongest character in One Piece. Like if you're in peak,
Mhm.
definitely Garp. I feel like
Dude.
that is,
I was always wondering why they call him like the hero or something, you know.
dude. And then you see,
But then you
this.
see this, and you're like, oh, it makes
and then you
sense.
realize,
It
oh,
makes sense.
wait, no devil fruit. That's just bare hands.
Oh, that he's just throwing hands.
That's literally him punching. That's a punch. Oh,
Like legit, he jumps hundreds of meters in the air and then he blasts an island.
Bro,
Like
you know the coup de burst that Frankie engineered?
yeah,
He coup de burst with his fist.
yeah, that's just
Like
him.
Just him.
Oh my gosh, the way they
No.
animated it was crazy too.
It's so good.
And then,
this scene
getting,
when they revealed the OG leader of what, Alabasta?
Yep.
Or
Yep.
like a heritage.
Yeah, it was Alabasta. Yep, that one girl.
And they have the D.
Yep, they have the D. That's her name. Yep.
Dude, and that's when we got the like a reveal of like their devil fruits or something.
Yeah, exactly.
What is
That I'm still wondering. Like,
They're like
are they
demons.
somehow connected to Emu? So that's why they're like the five elders and stuff. Or are they like, or is it just their
Or-
own like devil fruits or something? And Emu has that
Yeah.
same thing too. But you know,
I could see it like for my theory, I could see it as Emu's just like was the top dog, right? Like the
Mhm.
person like the shots, and then I feel like the five elders were like the people following him.
exactly. Yeah,
It's almost like a pirate crew itself.
yeah. Because like the five elders, I have no idea how old they are, but it sounds like they've
dude.
been alive for ages.
Yeah, dude. It sounds like honestly, remember how like I feel like we chopped about it before, but remember how Law's fruit grants immortality?
Mhm.
That's why his fruit's so valuable. It's like I feel like that's kind of what they got. That's what I could see. I could
Okay.
feel like
Yeah, they have
could
something-
have been around.
and it makes sense.
Yeah, like they literally could have been alive
Yeah, 'cause,
around
like,
like
how
the
would they
800
know?
like the 100th century.
Yeah, exactly. How would they know what happened like 800, 900 years ago?
Yeah, so they literally are like the top dictators,
Mhm.
you know.
And then
And then you got Vegapunk,
learning more
Mother
about
Weapon.
that one weapon that Vegapunk
Yep.
built.
And I feel like the Mother Flame is also like the flame that carries the Lunarians and also the Seraphim or King. You know, I feel like that's the Mother Flame.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's the same flame
But
that they have on their backs or something.
Yeah, but
Ah.
I don't know. That's just a theory.
Yeah, of course. And then the
Dude.
big Sag fight. Oh my gosh.
Garp
Garp taking the blade, and then him.
Garp's whole fight though, he just
Oh.
he just shared aura. He was
Dude, he was
knocking out
cooking.
people in one hit, dude.
And then the way like he, after the Honesty Impact,
Woo!
after that,
Yeah,
you know,
they gave
you
Kobe
see,
his flowers.
you
bro.
see like Garp there just laughing, slowly being frozen by Koji, like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And then in the flashbacks, he's like, "If you had to save a child or the old man, who would you
Yeah,
save?"
that was cool.
Shut the fuck up! Save the
Save
child.
the
Leave
child,
old
he
man.
has a
lived his
future.
Yeah.
Oh my
But no,
gosh.
dude,
But yeah,
yeah,
no,
you're gonna love the next episode.
I
And
love
also, I'm
I
happy
love
they
the
gave-
I love the Honesty Impact, you know.
Dude,
Like
it
if
made
anybody
sense,
deserved
dude.
it, it's Kobe.
It's Kobe.
Cuz like he's
He's-
freaking
he's,
honest,
like,
dude. He's
He's
freaking
the
honest.
next. Yeah, he's the next. The
The next top
what's it-
dog
he's
for
the
the Marines.
next dark. He's the next hero of the.
Yeah, the
the
next
Marines.
hero. Yep. Oh my gosh. But yep,
Yeah.
that's where I am. I don't really have any predictions other than like of course like they're going to go to like Elbaf and they're going to go to Raftel and they're going to fight Blackbeard in the future. Like it's all coming to like basically like very simple things. So I don't really
Yeah.
have anything that I'm
Dude,
I'm just
honestly-
more here for the ride now, you know. I'm tired.
You know,
I'm caught
honestly,
up.
where I left off that too, it's like it's just left that speculation when
Mhm.
they had that 6 month period, bro.
Yeah,
It was rough.
exactly. So I'm just happy that now I could jump back in there. Is there any
Yeah.
like any questions or like predictions you wanted to quickly say before we close
I
it out
think
here?
For me, I think since I'm already ahead, it was kind of cheating to have predictions. So.
But yeah, we could look at my predictions. We know this was wrong. I thought it was from dumb boy, but he's gonna come back in the future.
No, yeah,
I
when you
feel
had the
it.
prediction, I was like, yeah, you'll see.
But then
Yeah.
I still think the last episode
I
will be
believe. I think
1321.
that's
That
super
or
cool. I can see-
somehow we're gonna lose the 1,000 Sunny at 1321.
No, I think that theory was probably one of the best series, to be honest.
And then, of course, we're gonna have some kind of big battle in the future. I have no idea. Like, there's a bunch of faces that are still off the board.
I feel like everybody in there, like right now,
Mhm.
I feel like they're gonna show up, except for like the only one that I'm like, oh, maybe Gecko Moria, maybe not. I don't know. Like I feel like Enel, Gecko Moria, and Magellan. I feel like
Yeah,
those
Magellan,
ones-
I'm not sure about. I know Gecko, we're gonna get something with him, but he might not show up in the big final battle. But like,
Yeah.
there's definitely like people like Enel. Like, I want to see like
I would love to see him back, but I don't know.
I don't know what he'd come back for, but like he did escape, so like he's still out there. But of course, like Blackbeard, I want to say Doflamingo's gonna somehow come back in the story, because like he's just captured right now, but we've seen people get captured and then they come back, you know.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure like Doflamingo's probably coming back for sure.
Yep. But then I have these old questions of like who's Vegapunk. We know that now.
Then you saw some.
Gear 5,
Then you
we
saw
saw it.
Then you saw.
We still have yet to
Noah,
see
we
this.
still need to see that.
Yep. But like we now know that, you know, the Noah is somehow connected to like Wano and stuff, with like Zunesha and stuff. So that's cool. And Joy Boy is Luffy.
How strong is Shanks?
We still have no idea. Like we see him clap freaking Eustace, but you know that's pretty much it. But no, that's cool. We actually saw Shanks, you know.
Dude, yeah, no, Shanks doing that was just over.
What is the One Piece?
That is something that we had to find out.
Exactly.
You know, that is something.
And it's probably gonna be tied to Laugh-Tale, you know, and of course the D is too.
Of course the D, and we still don't know. Of course we have the theories of like they're like and they say it in the show itself. They're like the devils of like the gods who.
Yeah, exactly. They're the ones that could actually combat the gods. Yep. Okay.
The ones who cause trouble.
Yeah,
besides that,
that is pretty much it. Yeah. Thanks for jumping on here.
Yeah, sorry for yapping a lot.
It's gonna be a lot. This is probably gonna be the longest video, just because we had to talk a lot. We had to.
This yap session was long. My bad, bro.
No, that's okay. This is gonna be a freaking long video, and I don't care. People that watch this are gonna have to wait like a couple years before I make another video, anyways. Because the next time I make a video will be once One Piece is over. All right, that's it for this dang old video. That's pretty much everything I needed to talk about for the One Piece. I really wanted to chat with my brother, so then, you know, I can get like his thoughts and stuff, and also just to let him know that I freaking caught up. Of course, I still have like a couple episodes, like 8, 9 episodes, because I'm still on 11:22. But once this video is over, I'm just gonna blaze right through those episodes that I totally missed. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the journey, and I will be making another one of these videos once like the show is actually over, or in the next 300 episodes, because I don't know if it's gonna end in the next 300 episodes, but if it does, that's when I'll make another one of these videos. Sorry this one was so dang old long, but I really wanted to get the whole conversation of me and my brother, because this is more or less just to chat about this show and see like if our thoughts change in the future. So that's why this video will be freaking long. It'll probably be close to 2 hours, so sorry about that. But I'll add timestamps so that you can actually jump around and see your thoughts, or to just see like the intro, because the big part for me is just chatting with my bro. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed, you got something out of it, you know, seeing two people geek about a friggin' show that's super long. But yeah, that's it. Bye-bye now.